Hello again everybody, welcome back on board. We are in the Middle East today. A little bit different to what we originally had planned, but something different that we've not done for a little while either. We're back in the Kuro Boeing 787-8 here on the VATSIM network and Microsoft Flight Simulator in a really swanky Royal Jordanian Airlines livery. It is quite a nice livery for a Dreamliner, isn't it? I'm sure you guys agree. Zato, welcome. Brad as well, hello. Grant, good afternoon. Andy, living on a player. Zato, Joey Goofy, hello folks. And Badger, good afternoon. And everyone else, wherever you are in the world. We begin today at the Queen Alia International Airport. This is payware scenery. It's made by Double T. It's really crap, so don't buy it. It's pretty awful, as you can see. Look at that. That's supposed to be a fairly prominent structure in the centre of the terminal building, but alas, it is just crap. Same with the actual build of the terminal. Look how rough those lines and things are, and the really kind of grim looking texturing here as well. So really, but basically if you see Double T as a scenery creator, you know you're buying really poor quality stuff, so don't bother. Another reason why are we boarding with steps is because the jetway doesn't work either. They haven't configured the jetways to work. So yeah. If you're in our Discord server, we were talking about it yesterday about how poor the scenery is. So hopefully you haven't tripped up and purchased it. It's David A, good morning. Joey as well, hello. Oh, Bobby, there we go. It didn't take long. Very crap. Lol, I bought this just 1 hour ago to fly along with you. We've also got the Dubai scenery included within Premium Deluxe, plus the QNH 907 freeware enhancement for Dubai Airport on flightsim.to, which will bring it into a little bit more pop. And we've also got the Orbx Dubai City Landmarks pack installed too. Super nice. But here we are in the Dreamliner, one of well, definitely I think my favourite freeware currently in the sim, although it does require Premium Deluxe because you need the 787-10. Now look at that for timing. Boarding complete. Bish bash bosh. Let's run the METAR command. Hello Docs, hello to you. OJAI, isn't it, I think, the 4-letter code for this.
Hello. Hello, Captain.
Double T, mushy peas.
The jetway detached. When it comes back, we'll continue boarding.
So there's the
Okay,
METAR.
no problem.
Currently we're in
If you give
haze,
me a couple of
5,000
minutes, I'll
meters
see if I can
visibility,
get
but
ground
it's
to a
super
catch one
hot.
for you.
38
Thanks.
degrees Celsius. And QNH 1011, which is that, it gives us an airport elevation of 2,430 feet, which is pretty mad, to be fair. So yeah, we can say that this is hot and high today. Something Boeing is very good at, Airbus not so much. Although I think the more modern Airbuses can do it a little bit better than they used to be able to do it. But with that in mind, flap 5 would obviously be the preference today for takeoff. But if we do that with this big old runway here at Queen Alia International at Jordan, 3,660 meters runway length here. And if we use the full length and configure on VAS Airplane Toolbox for flap 5, you can see here that it says that we have a takeoff margin of 362 meters and it's red. So we need to increase that margin. We can't click this takeoff TPR and change any of that. But if we go to flap 15, we still can't change the assumed temperature, but we can recalculate to flap 15 and it gives us a takeoff TPR of 76.2% and takeoff run of 2,302 meters, giving us a margin of 1358. Gross weight today is 172 tons, so just shy of 172 tons, 172,000 kilograms. We are heavy, but if we click assume temperature, it says we're not allowed on flap 15, and if we go assume temperature on flap 5 with a yes, we can change one of these. 49 gives us a margin of 83, not good. and 48 gives us 108. Again, not good. We could use 362, and it'd probably be fine, but I'm not going to take that risk. So we'll work within our margins as best as possible. And we need to add our departure. So after I push back on the south apron, we're going to taxi out Echo, down Alpha, and line up runway 26 left, departing westbound onto the Kuro Boeing Quebec Optan, max 210, then southwesterly 217 degrees to Lotus, max 210 knots, and then turning eastbound through to Kuldi at or above flight level 150, and then we're going to be en route out of this IFR conditions in the haze across the Middle East towards the United Arab Emirates, arriving in about 3 hours time. With that, I can do a little PA system. No commands available. Maybe not then. Right, let's get this configured anyway. So flap 15, centre of gravity is 19. We need to set the trim at 6 for takeoff. No V speeds currently. The commentator, good afternoon. Welcome to you. Flying Panda as well. Hello. Catch up on the live chat. Yeah, MFSG is done OJAI as well. But from what I was reading, this is a little bit better. Which is a pretty low bar, isn't it? To be fair. Where was I? Departures and arrivals. So 26 left. Kuro Boeing Quebec. Execute. And that will check the legs page. Kuro to Tulips. There's no discontinuities. And our cruiser flight level 390 is selected. Transition altitude of 13,000 feet. And no descent page yet. But yeah. Yeah, VAS Airplane Toolbox has been updated. You have to update it with the patch, commentator. We spoke about it a few weeks ago in a couple of streams as well. Quite a few streams we've kind of mentioned it. That's all set. Emergency lights. Yes, I always forget those. The new feature here. We've got to make sure they're in the arm position and the guard closed. And everything else is good. So we're going to start the APU, although now the ground crew are going to crap themselves. And we'll pop the seatbelt sign on.
Go ahead.
We don't want to disconnect the GPU yet. The APU hasn't even fired up.
Hello.
Hi, Captain. We did start boarding, but we've had to pause for a moment because the jetway detached.
Okay, no problem. I'll contact ground and see if we can get one
Oh,
attached.
for goodness
Just
sake.
give me a few seconds.
Oh, I'm
Thanks.
starting to get pretty pissed off with self-loading cargo. For God's sake, that's so frustrating. How long has that been in play? We've got most of the passengers boarded. No, I don't try any of the betas, Felipe. I know it'd be something that people would like to see, but I just find they're a bit of a pain in the backside to kind of
We're
uninstall
off the ground power,
when
so
you're
feel
on.
free to disconnect. Roger. Stand by, please.
When you're on MS Store versions.
Ground power has been disconnected. Roger.
Might just skip the loading, boarding and bits. Jafet says, self-loading cargo is the most fussiest nonsense I'd not want to deal with. Yeah, I'm finding myself slowly getting wound up by it, to be honest. We've got like 30 odd passengers still left to load. It's because it doesn't talk properly to GSX, so when GSX finishes the boarding, it clears the ground equipment, which is why we've had that problem there. Alberto, good morning to you, I hope you're well. Where were we before I got a little bit wound up? Mildly miffed at that crap. So 131, sorry for V1, rotate 135, V2, 144. We'll set, again we've spoke about this a few times as well, very different to the 737. That is basically V2 plus 10. Here we would just set V2 and the aeroplane would sort out the plus 10 automatically for us, which is quite nice. We need to do engine acceleration altitudes. I think it's 1,000 for each. I can't remember now, but we'll put 1,000 for each. Nice to be noise abatement conscious. That'll do. I'm not going to worry about the other options there. We go back, thrust limitations. Ooh, we got tower online. Exciting. So we've got ATIS. Let me throw it up on the screen for you guys. OJAI. Information Alpha. Let's scribble this down. ATIS Alpha QNH 1011. Runway use 26 left and 26 right. Departing left and right as well. 150 for transition level. 260 at 9. 38 degrees. No significant changes expected in the next 2 hours. Caution birds in the vicinity and report any GPS interference within Amman flight information region. 119 at 8. Things I like what self-loading cargo does, but it is a cabin simulation and we're in a flight simulator where we kind of play pilot, if you like, not cabin crew. So I would prefer for this, in my taste, to be entirely automated, and you can kind of click in and have a little look and have a little gander at what it's all doing effectively. Can I get them to get rid of the GPU? I can't remember. Somebody else asked in the live chat. Let me just scroll up.
Go ahead.
Bilal, why don't you add the 777-200 to the Osprey fleet in Microsoft Flight Simulator? Because the 777 that is available in Microsoft Flight Simulator currently is crap. Captain Sim, disgusting product, vile, crappy crap. So because of that, I avoid it. Anything that's crap and anything that preys on the kind of side of the community that won't necessarily question quality and how good the product is before they spend their cash on it. They just want a plane. That's kind of what they pray to, and I just can't be bothered with even promoting it in the slightest by including it in the virtual airline. So we're waiting for the PMDG 777, maybe around November time. That's when we're going to add the 777s into the Osprey fleet, because they will be worth buying and they will be worth flying, if that makes sense. So yeah, anything Captain Sim for aeroplanes, avoid. Latin VFR have got pretty rubbish aeroplanes as well, kind of the same level. And then we've also got Double T. That's kind of Captain Sim level scenery. Look at that, nasty. Makes you want to poke your eyes out. Udavir, I've got the Premium Deluxe Edition Dubai, which is included in the Premium Deluxe Edition of Microsoft Flight Simulator. That makes sense. Come on, how are we doing on boarding? Let's go, people. 2:15 on board. Yes, we've done it. Let's get our clearance then. We're slowly running behind here. Queen Alia Tower, Salam Alaikum, Jordanian 614, Boeing 787-8 on stand South 10, ATIS information Alpha, request clearance to Dubai.
Jordanian 6114, hello, standby number 3.
Roger.
Very good afternoon, Jordanian 640, information Alpha, requesting clearance to Dubai.
So this is a real world route, folks, operated by Royal Jordanian Airlines between here and Dubai.
Number 4 for clearance.
We're just waiting on our clearance now, so we initially default squawking 2000, we're going to get given a transponder code by ATC, and I'm hoping they don't change any of our stuff. I've gone for a another D rate here, so instead of 83.9, I'll go takeoff 1. Just cleared our V speeds here. 144.
Osprey 784, stand 07, 8330 Neo, requesting IFR clearance to Dubai with information Alpha.
Ashton, welcome, buddy.
Osprey 784,
waiting door closure.
Number 6 for clearance.
Wicked. GSX. Get that closed. Try and again, that's another one, isn't it? That it's just not worth buying at the moment. The FSS Embraer 175, utter rubbish. But with the tag of early access, so people feel like that they buy it and they can therefore be a little bit patient with it. But how long has it been out for now? 6+ months? Almost next to no progress in reality. It's had quite a few updates. I've got it installed and I'm updating it every now and again. It does update through the Aerosoft client for me. Oh no, actually, Contrail now. They moved across to Contrail, I think. But it updates quite regular. And I loaded into it the other day to be like, you know what, I'm curious, let's have a little look. 8 months, mushy peas, there we go. Let's have a look 8 months down the line to see how much progress they've actually made. Perhaps there's a default LNAV at least. Nope, everything's still default. It's literally a Latin VFR A320 in an Embraer skin. Or a default A320 in an Embraer skin. It's rubbish still, so... if you're still finding yourself a little bit curious about that, again, don't waste your cash, folks. My goodness. Go for quality. Go for quality. So important. Can't really kind of stress it any other way, really. It speaks volumes when a default 787 and this freeware enhancement 787 is better than a payware Embraer jet, and better than a payware 777 from Captain Sim, and this is better than yeah, you guys get the gist. Good afternoon, David. Welcome, welcome. Aviation Sim, welcome to you as well, saying the livery should be payware, not the scenery. Zato saying anything Captain Sim avoids, don't do the same mistake he did. Michael, good afternoon to you as well. Jan says maybe the Ouroboros jet free Embraer will be better, but again, that's been in development for like 2 years now, hasn't it?
Negative.
Barely anything has changed with it. This has got its bugs, as Andy's saying, when the displays don't work like we had the other day. That's a bit of squeaky bum time. Today we've got a magenta line, hooray! Not so much last time, hey? Oh, we got Cesato's in the Emirates. They're ready to copy, Jordanian 614.
Jordanian 614, you can Dubai. Kurdi 1 Quebec departure, runway 26 left. Climb initially flight level 150, squawk 0775.
Cleared Dubai, Quality 1 Quebec departure, runway 26 left, initial climb, flight level 150, squawk 0775. For Jordanian 614.
Jordanian 614, repair correctly, Portland ready for position.
Okay. 0775.
Emirates 902, turns available.
Bosh.
I'm ready to copy 902.
150 is already set, look at us.
Emirates 902, clear Dubai.
Runway heading, V2, transponder, departure data set, cross-checked, sorted brake RTO, APU is fired up and ready. Let's get the pumps on, centre tanks are empty, so the centre pumps stay off.
Initial climb 1.
Pop the beacon light on, and we'll prepare for pushback with GSX.
Go ahead.
Correction, Emirates 902 feedback correctly for
require pushback. Actually, we're all set to go now. Feel free
We'll
to
just
get
wait
connected.
for a few minutes.
Roger.
Flight directors can go
Ground
on.
is connecting. Roger.
QNH is set. I fired up the Luke Air tool today to see if there was any, if we had any custom sound packs for this, but we don't, unfortunately.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Bilal says the Flubber A380X is on fire. Again, that's long progress. They're going from the ground up with that, so people get so excited with the A380. There's a little fuzzy grin that I get when I think about it, but beyond that, let's be realistic, it's not coming for maybe 6 to 12 months at least, so yeah.
Go ahead. Tow is connected. Release parking brakes when ready to push.
640 clearance.
Roger.
Oh, well, hello to you. I don't know why, but it isn't really that foggy at OJAR in real life. It's always exaggerated. Yeah, I think it's because the METAR says 5,000 meters visibility and haze. It's clear above, look. We're just in some haze at the moment, though it is clearing. We can see the boundary of the airfield up there. Afternoon, Sam. Mushy Peas just wants his MD-11. Again, people have rushed to buy that on a pretense of pre-release kind of thing, but you've got to be careful with these things.
Okay. Stand by 7 Kilo Lima clearance.
Go ahead, 7 Kilo Lima.
7 Kilo Lima, you're clear to Dubai. Crew D1 Quebec departure.
Launch manually for you running seatbelt signs on, auto brake, RDO, park brake set. Engines are currently shut down. Let's clear the master caution. We'll cancel the warnings.
Clear to Dubai by the call.
And we're ready for push.
Runway 26 left, initial climb flight level 150.
We'll get that ready because we have to do the engine 1, engine 2 VAF with SLC.
7 Kilo Lima, reflect correctly for push and start.
We're fully ready for push and start now. Let's go Dubai 7 Kilo. 7
Kilo Lima, set squawk 0722 first.
Jordanian 614, stand south 10, fully ready, request push and start.
614, number 2 for push.
Roger. Brilliant.
Osprey 784, clearance.
Go ahead, 784.
Very rarely in real life you'll get clearance and then say you're fully ready.
Dubai. Core D1 Quebec departure, runway 26 left, climb initially.
But obviously in flight sim we can whizzle through all of the setup real quick.
0750.
Clear to Dubai via the Kuro Boeing.
Sound very nice. What are you doing it in? Auckland to Hong Kong. That's quality wings. It's in P3D, is it? Or X-plane?
Initial flight level 150.
Initial flight level 150.
784 respect, correct. Report ready for push and start.
Ready for push and start.
He's pushing.
784, you're number 3 for push.
Welcome.
I think.
Stand by 7 Kilo Lima, push and start approved, face east QNH 1011.
I don't think they've had push and
Push
start.
and start approved, facing east, QNH 1011, stand by 7 Kilo Lima.
I don't know who that is, but they have been...
614, push and start approved, face east QNH 1011.
Push start approved east, QNH 1011, Jordanian 614. Nose. Right tail left. That one I think. I always get confused when I haven't got a custom profile. Okay, let's start her up.
Steering pin is inserted. Stand by while we
Got
start.
the FT Sim Plus sounds for this as well. So we have to go back in
Cabin
here.
crew, please set doors to automatic.
Ground crew. Oh,
Okay,
for
Captain.
goodness
We clear
sake,
for
stop
standing
closing it on me.
start engines. Starting number 2. Roger.
Emirates 902 is ready for push and start.
I think start 1 actually, isn't it?
Emirates 902, number 2 for push.
I'll do both, there we go, bash.
Copy 902.
Have that. I don't know where this is taking us, but with GSX profile default, it's kind of trying to read where this yellow line is, so it should get us quite nicely on it, to be fair. We need to do fuel control levers, and I will do 2 at the same time.
Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the crew, I ask that you please direct your attention to the monitors as we review the emergency procedures on
First
board
time
the
doing a
aircraft.
dual engine start at the same
Please
time.
listen carefully to ensure not
Sam,
only
that's in the
your
beta,
safety,
buddy.
but that of those
I don't use the beta as we've just spoke about a few minutes ago.
on the aircraft. Take a moment to
So
locate
engine
the
right
monitors
has already started. Recirc fans automatic.
Count the number of rows to the exit. Should the cabin experience
Packs are on auto.
stay calm and listen for
Gens are both, well, they're all on. Left 1, left 2, right 1, right 2. All of those are on. External power is off. Hydraulics look good. Window heat is set. Flight deck door power. Emergency arms. Lights are arms. Engines and wing anti-ice are on.
Please set your parking brake. The
Our
brake
brakes
is on.
set.
Stand by. Please
Right,
keep
so
your
much
parking
noise with
brake
2
on while we
things
monitor
running at the same
start.
time, isn't it? Ian, hello buddy, welcome, welcome.
Okay, Captain. Looks like a good start up on all engines and tow is disconnected. Nose wheel is free, so you're good to go. We'll get ourselves disconnected now, so have a safe flight. Look
Let's
out
get
for
the
pin
APU
on
off.
the left, and we'll see you next time.
While we wait
Thanks
for
very
takeoff,
much for your help.
take a moment
Pin on the
to
left and we'll see you again soon.
Flap 15 to be selected, and then it was trim 6. So currently stab trim is 825. We're going to press and hold the elevator trim so that it moves back to the 6 mark that we want it at. At least start it off correctly. Set
Bravo, ready to taxi.
nicely.
I can exit the ramp onto Alpha.
Gas.
560 Bravo, Roger. Taxi Tango Alpha, hold short runway 26 left.
Right, that's all good. So we're going to do control surface check. So we'll have a look on the flight control page over here. Fully right on the stick. Back to neutral. Fully left on the stick. Back to neutral. All the way rearwards on the elevator. Looking at the tail bit of the diagram. All the way forwards. Back to centre. And then we're going to check the rudder a few times because it jumps straight to extreme left and right. Something I always talk about every stream, isn't it? But still, it catches people out, including me. A couple of wiggles, and I'll do a couple of squeezes of the brakes as well, just to try and push the aeroplane into recognising that too. LNAV armed, VNAV armed. We won't do auto thrust just yet. Taxi on.
Skydiver 7 Kilo Lima, taxi Yankee Alpha, hold short runway 26 left.
Yankee Alpha, hold short 26 left, Skydiver 7 Kilo Lima.
Get me charts. Jordanian 614, request taxi.
So 614, taxi Echo, hold short Alpha.
Echo, hold short Alpha, Jordanian 614. Just write that down.
Osprey 784, after the Jordanian 787.
He's gone, I think.
From left to right, presence are approved, facing
Yeah. Cool. So taxi lights are on, brakes are off, and we should. There we are, on idle. Just begin to creep. Lifetime and live weather anthem, yes.
And after the Jordanian move.
Yep, he's right next to me. 784.
Yeah.
Status page, APU is off, flaps 15 and green, stab trim is set and checked. Takeoff data set and checked.
After the Jordanian 787 taxi from left to right. Presence on approved.
I don't know where he's going, but we're just going to ignore him.
Network 11 question start approved facing west. Emirates 902.
38 degrees out.
After the Jordanian passes from left to right.
After the Jordanian.
There we are, let's use a bit of Toby Eye Tracker. Only ever use it on the ground. But yeah, that terminal by Double T is horrible, isn't it? Look. Queen Alia Airport. There is a freeware version on flightsim.to, but it takes the default airport scenery in MSFS, just kind of enhances the taxiways a little bit. Still pretty rubbish, but at least you're not wasting money on that one. So, taxiing Echo.
Jordanian 614, keep switch to the Skydiver 737, approaching from left to right on Alpha, and follow that traffic on Alpha, hold short runway 26 left.
Give way to fly Dubai 737 right to left, and follow on Alpha to 0.27 left, Jordanian 614.
26 left.
26 left, thanks. 614. So give way to him. I wonder if you can see me flash my lights. So, clear right, following him left. Sam, yeah, what do you reckon? You obviously didn't see the stream 2 days ago. All the streams, by the way, folks, all our live streams, they're all available to watch on demand after the event, so you can still go and have a look and catch up on features and aircraft that we may have flown live and add-ons and bits that we might have seen live as well. They don't vanish. I didn't have the chart set up quite wide enough for me to spot the runway, and I'd kind of forgotten what runway we were using.
Seated and secured as soon as you give us the word.
I will.
So, round we go. That's the cabin secure. We can have a little look at self-loading cargo. They're the punters. 214 passengers on board today. Nearly a full aircraft. Oh, we didn't do our welcome on board announcement, which means that SLC is going to give us some absolute BS downgrade of points again. I find myself getting slowly wound up by self-loading cargo. It's starting to feel a little bit gimmicky rather than actually useful, if that makes sense. It's a great bit of kit and it is nice. I like it in the cruise because it gives you stuff to monitor and think about and manage. But all the rest of it, not that amazing. David says, I'm amazed you're still using self-loading cargo. Me too. It's good in some ways, which is where I quite like it. It's just the initial setup that just gives me that blue vein in my forehead when I get angry with it sometimes. Like when it stopped boarding because GSX had removed the thing. It doesn't integrate well with GSX. You'd think it would then just give you the option, or alert you immediately to be like, oh, the doors have been closed and the jetty removed. Yeah, I might, especially yesterday, 2 days ago, wasn't it? I got like a D- or something in my flight report on self-loading cargo, which is nonsense because the flight was actually really quite nice. And that was enough to make me think, you know what, I don't want to use this anymore because it's just ridiculous, some of the scoring mechanisms. I think
Osprey 560 Bravo, Mode Charlie, please.
I think all the folks here are ahead of us are going to Dubai as well, which means that we'll have a couple of minutes separation for departures today.
And Emirates 902 is ready for taxi.
Let's put transponder on proper.
Emirates 902 taxi.
Recall the warnings.
Alpha,
Good. Recall memo popped up there and then cleared, so we know we're good there. And we're going to get rid of the ICAS. Switch it across to just have a big, lovely
Osprey 560 Bravo, line up on
nav display.
Line up, wind 26 left, 560 Bravo.
Sure, down in 640, ready for push and start.
Actually, he's uninstalled self-loading cargo. It's just annoyed me to hell.
It
It might be worth checking it in September when they integrate it properly with GSX, so it works a bit more seamlessly. Because at the minute it just seems messy, and I would rather have.
Starts rolling, push approved, facing west, QNH 1011.
I'd rather have GSX over self-loading cargo out of an option of both, if that makes sense. To know how you guys feel about that in the chat. The Night Rider also doesn't use self-loading cargo anymore. Wow. Andy says, I'm about to uninstall the 788. Displays work in the 7810, but not in the Dash 8. Well, for me, it was the other time we flew it and we just had the zero kind of magenta line. But if you've got no displays working at all, Andy, it suggests that you might have a broken livery. I don't know, or an add-on that maybe needs updating that relies on. The Kuro relies on, perhaps.
Stand by 7 Kilo Lima. Behind the body, Osprey, line over with 26 left and wait behind.
Behind the departing Airbus Osprey, line up 26 left behind. Stand by 7 Kilo Lima.
Big thanks to our ATC for today. It's the Osprey livery. Weird. Is it the V2 updated Osprey livery, not the V1, the livery from pre-version 2 update, right? Because all of those are broken. All of the version 1 liveries are all broken. So if you even have one installed, you have to uninstall all of those version 1 liveries and get all of the V2 liveries for all of the airlines that you have, if that makes sense. GSX, is it worth €30? Absolutely. You do have to spend a lot of time and effort connecting custom profiles into it and all that kind of thing, but I really like it. Aaron, AAU2 is automatic. It's a forced update.
Unfortunately, there's nothing for the Unicom 122 decimal, so yeah.
Over to Unicom 122 decimal. Thanks very much for your service. Much appreciated. Osprey 560 Bravo.
So yeah.
So just gently taxiing on idle. We don't need to use power. Maybe a little bit in the turn just to keep us rolling. But beyond that, the engines are very efficient and they generate enough thrust at idle with our given weight, 172,000 kilograms, just to have us tick along. Quite a nice speed actually, isn't it? We don't need to push it anymore. There's the windsock. Keybinds. Jan raised possibly a good idea, a good suggestion there. The V1 livery broke MSFS. Yeah, not all the time though. So I was able to load in with the Osprey version 1 livery, for example, but had all sorts of weird display issues and everything else. And I tried some other V1 liveries. Some of them worked. Some of them completely crashed the sim in the loading screen. Tiberius says that is a slow taxi. No, it's a good speed. Don't forget we're in a big jet. A little bit higher up as well, so we don't have that ground effect.
Tower Osprey 784 ready for taxi.
Osprey 784 taxi.
Over the yellow line.
Oops.
Rudder's a little bit keen sometimes on this still. And we're trying to taxi to keep the centre line through the main undercarriage. And Jordanian 614 holding at Alpha ready for departure in turn.
614, you're number 2.
That's why I said I'm waiting in turn. Okay, so on the brakes. That's definitely not correct. So yeah, this double T scenery is bloody rubbish. Runway turn off. Strobes.
Jordanian 614 behind the departing, sky departing, line up runway 26 left and way behind.
Part brakes. Behind the departing, fly by 738, line up and wait 26 left behind. So Jordanian 614. Little bit of power. We're going to put traffic mode on. Oh no, traffic mode was on.
Clean power.
Terrain transponder is
640,
on.
go ahead.
LNAV, VNAV, flight directors, everything
my
cross-checked. Auto brake
speeding up.
RTO.
Is everything okay for you?
A lot of terrain there. Look at that.
Just say again for 640.
My text shows that you're speeding up to 91 knots. Is anything okay?
Yep, I'm just parked sitting here just waiting for the tug to disconnect and then I'll call for taxi.
Sure, sir. Amherst 903, you are number 2 behind the Jordanian.
Tiberio, so at night time you'll just be told to follow the greens, but that happens in a lot of big airports around the world. Heathrow is one of them. It's a fairly old system though, not a new one. So always spot the windsock. And we'll keep the turn going.
7 Kilo Lima, cheerio.
We want the nose wheel over the centre line, so we draw the centre line of the runway through the main undercarriage there, like so. On the brakes, we've got those horrible tile things loading in here as well. Very poor quality payware scenery this. Bilal, when people start using the schedule service more, because free flight's all well and good, you can fly anywhere in the world with free flight, that's what we're using today, but scheduled service requires people to actually use the scheduled service properly. And at the minute it's not really utilised that well. Because of that, there's not massive incentive to kind of expand the Middle East that much. Maybe Doha in the future. Depends on what good scenery there is for some of these airports as well, because some of the sceneries are pretty rubbish.
So now 614, surface wind 260 degrees.
Orders for start.
26 left, give takeoff.
Clear takeoff, 26 left, Jordanian 614.
Emirates 902 behind the body, Jordanian, line up runway 26 left, inward behind.
And we'll line up runway 26 left behind the Jordanian 787, Emirates 902.
Brakes off. Toga.
Jordanian 640, ready for taxi.
Jordanian 640, taxi, Echo Alpha, hold short, 26 left.
Echo Alpha for 26 left, Jordanian 640.
Got to focus on the takeoff roll. Through 80 knots. Hot and high with a D rate today. So look at this extra bit of runway we're using here. V1. Ooh, almost, there we go. Rotate. Keeping it coming up, V2. And positive rate with the flight directors, gear up. Just following the flight directors there, manual flight for a moment. Thera, hello buddy, welcome, welcome, very good, thank you. Get rid of the control visualizer, we don't need it. And we can put the autopilot on. LNAV, VNAV, forward thrust, got the con.
Jordanian 614, nothing further, watching phone, see ya.
Unicom for Jordania 614, thanks for the ATC, see ya.
What?
Ding, ding, ding. There we go. Leveling off a little bit here. Just got to check the flap extension speeds through 5, coming up through 1. And speed 210, so we won't retract them anymore. So nose goes back up into the climb through the haze. And a left turn coming up in a moment. I left the logo light on because of the haze down below. I'll turn it off in a minute. I mean, that's a very small, minor thing, isn't it? Big scenery tile lines there, look at that. Big change in ortho. Huge mountains around us though. There's that haze. Looks stunning. How are we doing? Still holding 210. Trophy neck. There we go. Very fiddly key, swivelly thing there. Vario, there is no such thing as normal takeoff flaps because it's dependent massively on weight, weather, height, altitude, temperature, all that kind of thing. So there is kind of no normal. Predominantly in the Airbus A320 normal ops, you're going to look at flaps 1+F for most places. Here in this 788 you'd look at flap 5, but today with being hot and high, flap 15 was actually the safer bet for us, safer option. So with that we're kind of using that instead. Strobes are on, when we turn off lights are on. Through 10,000.
Good afternoon once again from the cockpit. I hope you're enjoying the flight so far. We're currently climbing up to our cruising altitude of 39,000 feet, so I thought I'd give you a
Not
quick
sure,
update.
David, actually, to be honest, I haven't
We're
checked.
expecting to arrive on time as planned.
Tiberio, I
Progress
use
is going
fast
very well.
airplane toolbox.
You'll next hear from me just before we start our descent. I'll be sure to keep you updated if anything changes, but in the meantime, please feel free to relax and take advantage of our onboard facilities. Thanks very much.
Around we go. Clicking it just is a bit easier. And now we can clear the final stage of flaps, which is what it was waiting for in relation to
Ladies and gentlemen, good
releasing the
afternoon
crew, it
once again.
seems.
You may now use your electronic devices. Just a reminder
BJC,
to make
good work,
sure
thank you
that
very
keep
much.
your seatbelts fastened until the sign is turned off by the captain, at which point you will be allowed to move around the cabin. In a few minutes we will be starting one of our in-flight movies. If you require headphones, please contact a flight attendant and we'll be happy to help. For those of you who brought your own, you can plug them into the armrest to the side of you. Tune to Channel 6 on the in-flight entertainment system.
Channel
Thank
6.
you.
That's so old.
In a few minutes, we
Who
will be
uses
starting
Channel
the
6
in-flight
anymore?
service. If
That
you
reminds me of going on
all
holiday as a
aisles are
kid
clear
with
and bags
Britannia.
are placed in the
And it was
overhead
like, yeah,
lockers,
Channel
that would be much
6.
appreciated. Thank you. Don't forget that if you need assistance for any reason, just press the
3
button above your head and the flight
8
attendant
0,
will
I
be
think,
with
isn't
you
it?
as quickly as possible. And with that,
No,
I'll take
3
the
9.
opportunity once again to wish you a pleasant flight.
Yeah, you
as
used to
I
have it
wish
in
you
your
a
little armrest, didn't
Thank
you?
you.
And you'd have to pick the channel, and it was different types of music. So one would have like jazz, one would have classical, one would have current pop, and one would have the movie fed into that channel and that kind of thing. But that's so old school. I don't understand why that's even in the announcements. It's a bit weird. We're going to use channel 8 today for some tunes. Standard pressure, and with a standby instrument as well. So, landing lights all off. Seatbelt signs now off.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign.
Yes, a
so
free
you are now
glacier
free to move
mint,
around the
yeah.
cabin. However, for your safety, we do recommend
Oh, that
you
was
remain
great.
seated with your belt fastened at all times during the
Free
flight.
mint?
Thank you.
Those were the days. Yeah, or you'd get one of those travel suites on the tray with Britannia, wouldn't you? Board suite for takeoff, sir. Oh god. Adam, welcome. Yeah, good old Britannia. Lovely. Lovely, lovely airline that. I do miss it. Oh, TUI, what it's now become, is still a wonderful airline. Up we go. Got an aeroplane over there on TCAS behind, flying away the other direction, but that's all good, not an issue. And we'll have a look outside. Just hit the thing there. That's our really nice Royal Jordanian livery. If you have standard edition of Microsoft Flight Simulator, Bilal, then there's no real benefit in paying for the upgrade to Premium Deluxe, because it's pretty much the same cost as buying the sim again, effectively. Which is pretty mad. You're basically then paying £50 odd for a Boeing 787 which has no cabin. Good old Hooters there, yeah, they popped up on a YouTube thing the other day. A video, like a suggested video. I remember my first dining experience at Hooters. It was rather odd. Hasso says, as you know, our workload has been increasing with all the new add-on plugins. Is there any decent first officer tool? Not one that will control a lot of the stuff for you. Yeah, the good days of flying, Lithos, wasn't it? I've still got, so I was clearing out my mum's house a few weeks ago. She passed away recent, for those who don't know, but I found, she kept it, I couldn't believe it, but I found my first ever flight simulator, and I bought it on a Britannia Airways flight, off on holiday somewhere, I can't remember exactly where, no doubt one of the Greek islands, because we always went on holiday to the Greek islands growing up. But it's this little handheld kind of yoke styled thing. I'm desperate to put batteries in it and give it a go again. Just seeing it brought back loads of memories. And I was like, yeah, well, that was a proper toy. The announcement mod B-Flex is self-loading cargo. TFDI designs PAC-X. Marius, I've not tried it. I've reached out to TFDI multiple occasions to try and get like a review copy Because I've got a limited budget. YouTube doesn't make as much as people believe. And basically I was quite keen to have a little look at it and share my thoughts with you all, but they never responded to any of my requests. Rather sad. So I don't use it. Elliot's first Hooters experience was at AirVenture Oshkosh. 16-year-old British boy. You could say it's quite an experience. And came out again in the end. It's an odd place, isn't it, Hooters? I'm glad to have experienced it, but not my cup of tea. Very very kind of archaic way of thinking, isn't it? Look at that river system there. Wow. That's remarkable. That's some beautiful texturing there, isn't it? And it says Britannia used to fly to Australia. Did they really? I know they did for a little while. They did like the they still do it, to be fair. So the super rich can charter through the winter season. They can charter like the Dreamliner from TUI or a 757-200, and it'll be refitted into a very big luxury private jet, and they can basically go wherever they want. But that was a crew resourcing absolute nightmare flying to Brisbane for Britannia. My goodness. 24,000 and climbing. Nope. That's the one. Let's have a look, see what they're all doing. So all the toilets are in use. Doesn't take long, does it? 50% are already thirsty and 47% are hungry. That's the stuff I point it out all the time. 40% need the toilet, apparently, as well. It should go before the flight boards. I don't get it. I suppose it has to simulate something. People would, if it didn't do very much in the first 10-15 minutes, except for the cabin service, I suppose the developer would have people complaining that it wasn't doing enough. Can't win, I guess. Brian says, have I heard any news about the Avro RJ from Just Fly? They have gone quiet on it, haven't they? But I don't think there's much to be worried about. They'll just be working away quietly in the background, to be fair. Bobby says, do you plan on flying the newly released Concorde from FS Labs? No, because I don't have P3D. Ian says, I've still got my 757 and 767 models I bought on board Britannia flights. I think I do somewhere as well. Maybe not. I think I remember the missus binning them when we moved house, so that we didn't take so much stuff. So all my stuff got binned. Pretty much like 30 plane models. Air 2000. Had an Air 2000 757, Britannia, Monarch, Monarch A320, I think it was. Might have been an Air 2000. Oh, it was an Air 2000 A320 as well. And that was it. A Monarch 757, a Britannia 757, a Britannia 767-300, British Airways Dreamliner. The only one I've managed to actually keep is my A380, which she dropped when I was cleaning. When she was cleaning. Knocked it off the table when it broke the nose wheel, broke one of the horizontal stabilizers off, and it was then blue tacked back together as if I wouldn't notice. And you can't buy them anymore. Devastated. I'll tell you what I am looking forward to though. I'm very tempted by this. The Lego Concorde. I really think I'm gonna buy it. But then I don't know if I can justify 170 quid on Lego. Yeah, over 500 pilots on New Sky for Osprey Airways now, Aaron. Still 100 who haven't flown a single flight though, sadly. Doc said he flew on a real Boeing 787-8 last week, very impressed with it. Engine sound is very different to the A320 and 737. Ryan says he's still got his first choice 757 model. James, hello to you. Just downloaded self-loading cargo and can't seem to link SimBrief. Keeps showing an error, something about a problem passing or something. Depends on what your SimBrief username is. To be fair, but it has to be your actual SimBrief username or your pilot ID. So if you can't, if you've got like some weird and wonderful username with hyphens and bits, maybe just try the pilot ID, that 6-digit number. When I flew on a 787, I wasn't wholly impressed with it, to be totally honest. I thought the cabin was comfortable, but it was nowhere near the A380 in comfort and quietness. On board the aeroplane, when I flew on a 787-8 and a 787-9, and I found them as noisy as a 777 inside the cabin, which is actually quite poor, really. It's quiet for people outside, so when it's taking off and flying over or flying on approach, it's designed to help mitigate noise to residents around an airport. But in the aircraft, it's noisy as heck. The A380, by comparison, twice the size, but a lot less noisy and so much more comfortable. Yeah, these are definitely all old river systems. I mean, I'd be tempted to say some of them are new or still currently river systems, but this part of the world is so dry, isn't it, that yeah, maybe that's all dry. These are all dried up riverbeds, which is quite weird to then look at, isn't it, when you think about it, because it's so vast. There's so many of them. And then a big old motorway, I think, running all the way across there, by the looks of it. What about the noise in the cabin of an A320 versus 737? I've never flown on a 737 in real life. Usually because the operators are pretty crap, so I tend to avoid them all, like Ryanair. I will never ever fly on Ryanair. I would rather do 2 sectors rather than a direct service if it meant having to fly direct with Ryanair. That's just personal preference. Living on a player. We just bought the Millennium Falcon Lego set for my son for his birthday next week, 170 Canadian dollars, but it was the only thing he asked for. Wow. The massive one or the kind of mid-sized one, because the massive one is huge. It would take up like half a room. So I assume not that one. I think that one is about £700-800, which would be 1,300 Canadian dollars, roughly. Yeah, mid-sized one. I was looking at that. I was looking at is it the Starship Destroyer thing as well? It's a beautiful landscape here, isn't it? We've never flown through this part of the world. Really nice. The colours, the gradients, small little hills. Let's put some of these screen grabs into Volanta, and then we'll have a look at our little train. There we go. So there's our route for today to Dubai. We've got Badger up front, 748 at the minute. We've got Graham ahead, Osprey 560, showing in an SR22. He's not though, he's in the A320. Lovely. Phoenix. Very nice. The terrain here, in fact, look at that canyon there. We didn't see it so well on our departure, but that canyon is really nice. Great screenshot. And then the airport disappearing into the haze there. Oh, he bought the really crap double T as well. Very nice. Boarding via both steps. Efficient. Superb. Who else have we got flying along? Just ahead of us, the MK Messiah. Fly Dubai 737. No screenshots yet though. And there we've got ourselves, followed by Zato in the Boeing 777 on P3D. Hope that one doesn't work. There he is. God, P3D looks so awful compared, doesn't it? Looking forward to a PMDG 777, that's going to be great. And then we've got Don Carlito, airborne in the A330 Neo. Very nice. Tail cam, love it. Default airport. Probably better than the double T, because you haven't spent any money on it. Who else we got? So Osprey 784 is Don Carlito. We've got Roger Jordanian 640. Looks like flying a slightly different route to ourselves, but he's airborne. I think that is the end of our pack. It is. Ta-da!
Ladies and gentlemen, in a few minutes we will be serving food. If you could please ensure all aisles are clear and bags are placed in the overhead lockers, that would be much appreciated.
VATSIM's joining from
Thank
Baku,
you.
Azerbaijan. Been there. It's a very weird place. One of the strangest places I've been to in the world. Look at that. Oh, just got that screenshot before this horrible line tile comes in here. Big old gap in satellite data there, look, by the looks of it. It's a huge bit just gappy. How are we doing? Almost at cruise now. Yeah, Litos, there aren't the thing about Middle East add-ons, that there aren't that many good airports at all, is there? That's the thing, that's true. Bobby says, mind you, the Sahara was a lush tropical rainforest 11,000 years ago. It's just crazy to think how quickly the world's climate can switch, yeah. Doc saying our route's flying, want to go. Flying north of 2 nature reserve parks in Saudi Arabia, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Royal Natural Reserve and Imam Turki bin Abdullah Royal Natural Reserve. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? My goodness. Granny Smith got to fly Bali to Brisbane on a 787, enjoyed the low cabin altitude and the humidity, but agreed it's loud. Then flew the A350 Sydney to Amsterdam, and the sound was so much better, but air quality poorer. The lower cabin altitude is the same in the Airbus. The difference there is the packs go through the engines, whereas the Dreamliner doesn't. It has these the scoops there. So it's a very unique design with the Dreamliner. These scoops are kind of like direct air intakes for the air conditioning packs, which are in here in the belly, and that then feeds the air conditioning system in the aircraft, whereas the A350 uses a bleed air system still with packs in the engines. But yeah, you've got these 2 scoops, look, on the 787. Real life true fact for you. Clip says he's equally as excited for the Bluebird 757. That would be game changing, literally. Doc says, looks like he forgot to turn off ads in the middle of the stream. I think YouTube have changed some settings over the last 2 days, because I've got a whole load of new buttons about delaying ads and things like that, and create highlight video, add stream marker, and all this. So I think they might have changed some bits again, and I'd have to tinker to kind of work it all out. There's a lot more in my little studio dashboard for the live stream. But adverts, they help support the channel. Should hopefully they don't pump in too many automatically, because otherwise I will turn them off again. You shouldn't have had 3 ads during the stream, Doc, already. My goodness, that's not good. Unless you've come out of it and gone back in, because then you're rejoining the stream, you'll get another ad at the start, won't you? That's I think kind of standard. But it looks like YouTube are changing the way that the adverts work during live streams, and I haven't really read the new kind of information bits about it. But yeah, YouTube Premium works quite well for most. That's ad-free streaming. It should be a fairly uneventful and fairly smooth flight through today. We can monitor things throughout the journey. We're still expected on time, allegedly. And we can do little PA systems to the passengers.
Good afternoon once again from the cockpit. I hope all is well with you and you enjoyed flying with us so far.
Drink service is underway. No alcohol
we
on
look
this
to be
flight, I
making
don't
good
think.
progress and are expecting to arrive on time as planned.
I appreciate it,
We'll
Clipper.
keep you posted if anything changes, but in the meantime enjoy the remainder of the flight and I'll speak to you again once we're about to start our descent. Thanks.
Yeah, I was watching Bobby. I was watching yesterday. It was an hour-and-a-half long review video comparing 4 different motorcycles on a really good UK-based channel. And yeah, that's where YouTube Premium was great, because it was just ad-free all the way through. And I quite enjoyed watching it actually as well. I'm trying to select the right bike for my first motorbike. Qantas, Lord Doofer saying Qantas are going all Airbus, and Death Star basically always have been, as in Jetstar. I thought Virgin was staying 737. Mushy Peas did a CVT a couple of weeks ago. Nice, how did you find it then? Because mine's next Thursday. I've got all the gear, but no idea. And I've just paid the 30% deposit on my direct access course as well, which is going to start end of October. Looking forward to it. Ashton says, I'm flying the 747 today, sadly no magenta line on the map, so I have to use Navigraph. Oof. You should still get LNAV and VNAV working though, from when we had that problem in this the other week. And I don't know if you can on the 747, tell me if you can't, but I found that if you change the lower MFD setting to display the nav display, weirdly you can then see a magenta line. Mushby said, yeah, fine. Struggled with U-turn and hill start though, but I've had no issues on hill start on my own bike. You got Honda CB 125F. Very nice. Are you looking at doing direct access, or yeah, I'm going straight to a big bike. I'm looking at a Tiger 900 GT Pro. That's what I'm looking at for my first bike. I was looking at a GS. Initially a GS 1250. That's too new. GS 1200 BMW. That's too expensive and too big and too heavy. And then I looked at the GS850, but that styling isn't quite right for me. Then I looked at the R1250R, I think it is, with BMW. That's a beautiful bike, like a road version of an Adventure GS. But I don't know. There's something about the styling that I really like. About certainly the Tiger 900 GT Pro, the reviews for that are insane. They're really, really good. How does the missus feel about the bike idea? I don't think she's too happy with it, but she knows I'm doing it anyway, so she won't say no. It would just be the usual, be careful, that kind of thing. But you know, I've done a lot of really high quality training with work, driver stuff, and I've got some pretty good skills that I hopefully can apply into riding bikes. No direct access on the Isle of Man. Everything on a 125, then once on a full license to ride anything you want. The limit to 50 for a year. Wow. Elliot says, I'd ride a motorbike if it wasn't for the respect and eye for safety that UK drivers don't have for riders. Yeah, you're bang on. Certainly in London. If you see Addison Lee or Uber, you know they're going to try and hit you. And that's in a car, let alone a bike. Yeah, I think she'd rather me flow more money into actually doing my PPL in, to be honest. But like I said to her, with the bike, I can focus on maintenance, kind of putting effort into that without spending tons and tons of money on flying, and then having to spend tons of money every year just to keep it in date, knowing that I'll never be able to afford the stuff to become get the ATPL. So it was kind of the money wasted, whereas the bike I could enjoy most days, certainly through summer, so it makes more sense. And a little bit of a thrill and a bit of open riding around where I live. Beautiful, beautiful countryside, and the roads are great for riding. So I'd love to just kind of go and explore the local area where I now live and stuff like that. It'd be quite nice. Ride about, see what's around. And yeah, as Ian is saying, normal people, real people, can't afford a PPL anymore, certainly in the UK, because the fuel cost has completely wrecked it.
Please make sure your tray table is in the down position and clear any items from the aisle.
Dark, nice. A new electric motorcycle earlier this year. That's nice. The tech here is pretty new for that still. I think that the Harley Davidson Livewire is the kind of most exciting electric motorbike currently in the UK, but it's the cost of like a Volkswagen Golf. It's like £23,000, which is like $30,000 US for an electric motorbike now. I would still have a car badger, yeah, absolutely. Certainly for winter, in my first year, most definitely. But I need a car for my dog as well. Stick him in the boot, take him about. But I'm going to live on the motorways going to and from work in it, so that's why I'm looking at a Tiger 900 or a GS, kind of, that 1200cc up to that kind of thing. The insurance is expensive. Ooh. Cyclists, Adam, he's a cyclist. Says it's a friend of mine who's bought a KTM and loves it, said it was very affordable. I've fallen out of love with cyclists now. Seems one's trying to get me prosecuted for something that I haven't done, so they could bugger off. Lost all respect for cyclists based on this one person. Where I live, they're an absolute plague. Sidecar? Oh, absolutely no way. That'd be awful. KTMs are too noisy. One of the guys at work has one, and don't kick up at me, I won't. Just don't do something wrong yourself, then complain about a driver as if the driver made the mistake. Crowman, hello. 57 passed his bike test way back in 82. Owned loads of different bikes. Currently have an 06 Yamaha FZ1S. Nice.
Hello.
Sorry to bother you, Captain. I was just wondering if you'd like a drink.
Not at the moment.
I'd love a gin and tonic.
No problem. Give me a call if you change your mind.
How'd you find the Yamaha? Because I was looking at the Tracer 9, but styling's a little bit MT09 for me, really. I'm not a fan of that. Yeah, I've got front and rear dash cam Elliot as well. Absolute must have these days. It saved me a couple of times as well as it has you by the sounds of it. Moshi P says yesterday was the first ride he did that he didn't like. The wind was really unsettling his little 125. Yeah, I mean that's where I kind of want a little bit more weight behind the bike as well, so it's just a bit more planted on the road with some gusts and bits, but Doc saying electric motorbikes for him where he is becoming a trend. Bought it for about £570. What the heck? Can reach speeds about 60 kilometers an hour. Isn't that like 40 miles an hour or so? I can't remember. Charge it once a week. then we're going to the gas station. That's pretty cool. I don't think there's a bike that can do that, electric bike wise, that we have in the UK. That's pretty neat. Yeah, I mean that I hate, Adam. Drivers just passing cyclists and motorcyclists far too close. It's always, for me, it's always give the same kind of distance that you would give a car, really. Graham says the best bike he ever owned. He's had 3 of them over the years. Was a Honda VFR 750 through 89 to 90 before the single side swing arm model. Oof. I don't think I would buy new mushy peas, although it depends on what is available used. I was looking at, in the UK there's a company called Superbike Factory, and I was looking at all the hundreds they have available, various different makes, models and sizes and all that kind of thing, and there was only 4 Tiger 900 GT Pros that were available. So they're really few and far between. Living the dream, yeah, long way up. I really enjoyed watching that, actually, and like I said, that was on electric bikes. That was a great series, actually. Yeah, really good series. Obviously, he had a CRF 450 when he was younger. Used to always be out in the countryside, but kind of lost interest. Aaron says he loved riding the Great Ocean Road in Australia on a motorbike. I'd love to go to Australia, I really would. Gower 350 for Badger's dad. His dad had bikes half his life. The interesting bike he had was the most interesting was an early 80s Gower 350. I don't even know what that is. I'd have to Google it to find out. It's pretty cool. Brad, welcome back. Sold his bike to Superbike Factory. Nice. They're kind of dotting up all over the place. They're few and far between. I think I'll end up just going to like my local Yamaha dealership, or my local Triumph dealership rather, to get the Tiger, something like that. Maybe they do used as well. I'm not sure how it works. I'm sure they do used stock as well. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, pre-owned. Approved used. Oh, I've gone down the rabbit hole again, folks. Body type model, no. I want the Tiger, where is it? Tiger 900 GT Pro. Oh, they've got a few available. I want more in panniers though. Or a top box, so I can ride with it. None of them are near me. Literally not a single one. That's the problem. Yeah, there's a 2022 one here for 3816 miles, approved used, and it's 12.5 grand. For literally £2,000 more, you could just buy a brand new one at 0 miles on the clock. He says. Still expensive though, isn't it? Cat Wazza says Storm Betty looks like it could be a bit of fun in the sim if rain and wind is your thing. Building up over the UK, isn't it, that one? Storm Betty? I think I've heard about that. Oh my god, Rab, that's incredible. Bros Gaming, you can head back to Roblox. Yeet. Rab says that Superbike Factory had something like 49 vans touring the country buying up bikes. The guy that uplifted mine asked if I wanted a job. That's pretty cool. Veritrack. Departing Leeds Bradford. Ooh, in the default A320. RIP. Thoughts and prayers? Just nothing, isn't it? Just vast, empty landscape around here. Just like, I mean, there's just a massive desert, far as we can see. It's insane. Absolutely remarkable, that. What are we doing? Mach 8.2. I reckon we can step on it. Bosh. Mach 8.4. Wind her up. We're in the Middle East. They just make more oil to burn more oil. Clippen, good question. I think not, because ETOPS is kind of an oceanic certification, I think. Extended twin engine operations. And that's because it's kind of certification, which means if you lost an engine, can it sustain continued suitable safe flight for long enough for you to reach land? That's kind of, I think, as I understand it, ETOPS kind of certification process. Whereas here, even if we lost an engine and we couldn't sustain our altitudes, we've got vast desert to go and land on, which I'm sure would be not great, but it would be better than landing on water, that's for sure. But the aircraft is probably ETOPS certified. Depends on the routes they do, because if Royal Jordanian doesn't do any kind of ETOPS related flights, then it doesn't need ETOPS certification. If that makes sense. The point is paying for something you're never going to use. But the aeroplane would be capable of doing it, no doubt. I think the airlines have to pay money to get it certified, so you can stick the little ETOPS stamp on the plane. Extended range twin engine operations performance standards, doc says ETOPS stands for. Look at that, just red. Big old line. The satellite imagery around here is very kind of broken, isn't it? Where is it? There we go. Ashton. Right, edit. We haven't landed yet, but we might do. Let's see how fast we can get this. Let's do Mach 8.8. Let's see in the next 200 nautical miles if we can overtake the two that departed ahead of us. At least one of them. He definitely went to Google for that rap, yeah. 100%. Paul just bought a 4080 as an upgrade to his 3070 with 5800 XD and a 2K monitor, hardware enabled. DirectX 12 beta DLSS 3 turned off. I get no difference in frame rates at all, any of the settings. I don't know, to be honest. It would come down to whether or not the rest of your spec is compatible with the 4080 and whether or not it's being used properly, I think. Other people in the live chat will know more about it. I'm not techie enough for that, so I don't know. I really don't know. I'm the worst person to ask. When I bought my rig, I ended up getting a lot of assistance from mostly our channel net members, to be fair. Yeah, mostly our channel members to kind of help with it all. Choosing the right bits. But why DLSS 3? Because I still use TAA, and then I turned frame generation on with TAA instead of using DLSS 3. But also, what kind of performance are you getting? Because if anything over 62 frames per second is totally pointless in a flight sim. You don't need it. So just cap it. That's what I do. I cap it at 62. Oh, remote lands as well, Granny Smith. There we go. So Clipper, the answer is yes. I think I mean, because they're towns and villages, as Doc's saying, I don't think this would be categorised as a remote land. A couple of cities and bits. There's Riyadh there. I think where we're looking at remote land is going to be kind of like North Niger, the Sahara Desert, kind of all of this up here. This would be remote. Similarly, I think Greenland could be probably classed remote as well. Ah, Ian, nice. Holiday in Finland took a lot of that for saving for the spec that I've got. Holiday's better. Finland as well, nice. I was thinking the other day about, I know I want to go to Tokyo next year and take the missus, but I'm really tempted to just go on like a couple, 2 weeks in Scandinavia. And we do, say, 5 days in Finland, 5 days in Norway, that kind of thing. Just go and explore a little bit, but who knows. Paul, what's your VRAM as well? Because not all GPUs are created equal. You could have a 4080 with, say, 12 gig of VRAM, or one with 16 gig of VRAM. The 16 one is obviously a lot better than the 12. And if your 3080 had 12 VRAM, or 3070 had 12 VRAM, and it's very similar to the 40, then I'd probably not expect much difference. The 4090 is where kind of the benchmark pushes well away from the rest, but the 4060, 4070 for example got absolutely slated and described in quite a few places as being worse than the 3000 series. Not sure, I haven't read enough about the 4070 though. Granny Smith says for most wide bodies with the Google rabbit hole of ETOPS, remote areas would be considered like Greenland, like what I was saying, the Sahara as well, but also Siberia and the Himalayas. Nice to know. Yeah, nice. Flight to Copenhagen, train to Stockholm, and a mini cruise to Helsinki. Very swanky. What? How did you find the train service zipping around Copenhagen to Stockholm and that kind of thing? Living on the dream says Tokyo would be cheaper based on the cost of beer and wine in Scandinavia. Tokyo is really bloody expensive though. Woof. Marius's car took me out back in 2016, ended up in intensive care for a few weeks, although I'd love to get back on the bike again. The wife gives me that look that means you don't dare. That's fair enough. That's a heck of a lot to go through, isn't it, for both of you? Yeah, I've got friends at work that have all come off their bikes and things, but Doc says it's quite fascinating that Finland is not part of Scandinavia. Is there a reason for that? I've always been curious to know. Because when you say Scandinavia, you kind of think of that whole region, don't you? Without realising that Finland isn't part of Scandinavia. Clipper, there was an interesting video that I watched. I linked it in our Discord server a few weeks ago that Nvidia are actually manipulating the market, and they are intentionally throttling and withholding back deliveries of all of their 4000 series GPUs to keep the price high. They are basically inflating the price themselves, which is a pretty disgusting tactic. I mean, it's little things like that you read about Nvidia that makes me probably think that I would move to AMD next time, because you don't hear as much horrible kind of marketing tactics from AMD, do you? I'm sure they're at it though. Adam says, as a Swede, you can confirm that Euro currency countries are expensive as hell nowadays. It was very expensive in France. Yeah, I mean that kind of goes into the Brexit thing as well a little bit, doesn't it? The Brexit topic, and it's in the UK we get it pushed down our throat all the time that Brexit has destroyed us. Brexit's the reason for the cost of living crisis and all this kind of thing, but they fail to actually explain that across Europe the markets are wrecked as well. That across your EU and the UK, all of the economies are kind of struggling a bit, and the cost of living for everybody's gone through the roof thanks to Putin. Yeah, Tom Contin, Ashton. We've done it a little while ago, actually, a long time ago, but not for a long time, so it might be worth trying to go back in there and have a little look, but it just doesn't have any decent scenery for it, really. Doc says, yeah, Iceland and Faroe Islands are part of Scandinavia. Are they really? Where are you reading that? I did not think that was the case. I didn't know that. And we've done it before, Ashton. We just had people parking on the grass and things. Clipper says he's got a 4080 12 gig now and it gets the job done. Seeing your 4090 definitely makes me want one. Yeah, give it another 6 months and there'll be the 5000 series GPUs out, won't there? 3 years to the day since Microsoft Flight Simulator released on PC. God, that time's flown, hasn't it? Three years, that's insane. And then yeah, next year, new sim time, as David's pointing out. Kind of exciting for. I'm looking forward to MSFS 2024. This is a great starting point for them, isn't it? If they can improve this sim by say 25%, then just imagine how good that's going to be, folks. Andrew, good morning to you. Yeah, it's quite a cool little theme that you'd come up with. Not necessarily something we'd put into a livery, because we've got quite a defined holidays livery already. But I like the idea. For today's flight, by the way, as well, folks, we are using the exact registration that flew this flight the other day, Juliet Yankee Bravo Alpha Echo. So it's one of the liveries available in this Royal Jordanian livery pack on flightsim.to, and it is the exact one that flew this route a few days ago. They said, Ian, that spec-wise they were working to make MSFS 2024 as close to the same recommended minimum specs as MSFS 2020, which is pretty good if they could pull that off as well. And yeah, let's hope they make it properly multi-core. Be able to unleash it on a lot of people's systems properly then. Better graphics, better performance. It's going to be good. My goodness, Clipper just spent over £2,000 on mountain biking equipment, so he's done for a while now. Oof. Need to save for a house, so goodbye when and if the US market ever gets under control. Rab says the scenery is awful, there are just tiles everywhere. Yeah, we can kind of see it here, can't we? Big random squares and gaps in the photogrammetry, look. I suppose because it's quite rural and in the middle of nowhere, isn't it, that they probably didn't bother actually spending the money on photogrammetry for this one. So we've got an aeroplane ahead of us somewhere. We saw it on an external view.
Hello.
Hello, I was just wondering if you were hungry. I'll get you something to eat if you like.
1,000 above.
Not at the moment, thanks.
No, actually,
No problem.
level.
If you change your mind, just give me a call.
We'll go to 410. We'll climb up. Automatically updated. Enough speed. Bobby, nice. I'm coming for you. No, I'll climb over you. Ideally, I would do offset track, but because this has got the weird stuff with the LNAV, I don't want to break the LNAV by going into heading mode and going offset for a little while. So what I'll do is I'll just climb over the top of you. He's here somewhere. Oh, there he is. Chuffing heck. Now traffic mode's activated. We'll go to Mach 86. Just to get the jet in the climb a bit better. Oh, Mach 87, there we go. Nah, Bobby, it's fine. Scotty2, welcome on board, thanks for subscribing. Wow, he's getting... We've got real close to him. It doesn't have a TCAS avoidance, which is kind of the problem, really. So it's meant that we didn't know we were that close to him. But think Oceanic. I'm tempted to go over him at 1,000 foot, actually. Nah, we can't, really. In case somebody's coming towards us. It's stabilised a little bit, Clipper, not too crazy. Sebastian in Dubai Control Tower, good evening. Crikey, Clipper, that's insane. All safe though, we're at 3 miles separation still. Very exciting, we will be flooding in soon. Look at that, the textures, wow. Very cool, and another screenshot. Time for the overtake. The Dreamliner is so fast. Zoom, zoom. Yeehaw. Probably not living the dream. Half hour's a bit too optimistic for me, I think. We've still got, well, mind you, 30 minutes. We could do it. Just reset the drone camera a little bit. Look at that, I've done a Zato, overtaking somebody. Great textures down below, isn't it? Lovely bit of land. Where there's photogrammetry. Where it's just weird tiles, maybe not so much, but very, very nice. So we'll look to go back to 3.9. And I'm just going to select vertical speed mode, just go into a very smooth. Smooth rate of descent. Is the 787 easy to learn? It is, but you've got to spend the time learning it still, if that makes sense. One of those things. But I've done tutorials for it that will help you get into it, Italian Yank fans. So do take a little look. Neil says a nice desert and mountain scenery flight would be Cairo to Sharm el Sheikh in an Air Cairo ATR. Not a bad suggestion, actually. We'd not thought about that. Badger suggested Cairo the other day, but a flight to Cairo from Jordan, I think it was, or somewhere. I can't remember where exactly. We were supposed to do another airport scenery, and it was agreed that I would be streaming it on this day today in anticipation of its release. And then after I'd set the stream up, the developer then turned around and said, oh, it's too soon. And all this kind of thing. So moved the goalposts, which is really frustrating when you've spent an hour setting a stream up, because it does take a long time to set a stream up. Which is why we're doing this today, as a fallback from one of the suggestions from, I think, from Aviation Sim in the live chat from a few weeks back, and I was like, you know what, bookmark that one. That's a good little idea for a backup. So we're doing this. Yeah, we are overdue a flight in Japan at 100%. 1600. Okay, he's behind, that's good. No, not streaming tomorrow in Cumber, so I'm back to work. Let's go to Mach 89. Just try and help this this overtake a bit more. Good separation from him now though, look, all the way over there. So just as gentle descent. How are we doing at the back? Yeah, to be real, the chart box is fine. They're the real world charts. Yeah, Japan's great for freeware. There's some spectacular freeware sceneries. And yeah, like Andrew says, we haven't been to Japan very much recently. There's so much coming out though over the next few weeks. It is difficult to keep up to date with it all, really. No idea, Mike. Not yet, not sure. I've got my CBT next Thursday, so probably a stream Wednesday and Friday. Genix Gaming, welcome on board. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. I hope you're well. What we'll do, because we're at the even flight level here, 400, we just need to extend or accelerate through this. Because if we've got aircraft towards, our closing speed would be 1,000 knots. And we're at risk of kind of getting into conflict with them. So we're just going to extend quicker through this. Any builds Gatwick for me is better to Beirut. I haven't tried MKVY's one though since the new PC got delivered. One to go. That'll do. We'll go to 300. Keep it nice and smooth. Change our cruise performance. Let's see what we've got to Dubai, shall we? Okay, so it's the bottom one that we need. Arrivals Charlie at 1200 Zulu. ILS approaches 30 left. Surface wind 310 at 15, but variable 280 to 340. Visibility cav OK. Temperatures 37 degrees Celsius. Dew point 25. QNH 1002. And advise aircraft type on first contact. Enhanced wake turbulence separation in force. Minimum runway occupancy required. Squawk assigned transponder code until on stand. And caution possible guide slope fluctuations. Vacate Kilo 8. Advise ATC copy Charlie. So, in Dubai, you get, it's quite specific. Gus Genix, great to hear, thank you very much. Where is it? Let's see. 12, no, it's 30 left, wasn't it? So here we go, Kilo 8. Which is there. So in Dubai, when you get cleared to land, the tower will say something like, for us for instance, Jordanian 614, runway 30 left, cleared to land, vacate Kilo 8, winds 260 at 7 knots or whatever it is. And that is them telling us we have to vacate Kilo 8, and we have to try and adhere to that unless we can't for safety. The safety is always superseding any ATC instruction, but when you're flying into Dubai on VATSIM, that's one of the little regional things that you will hear. A little later on, if we've got ATC when we arrive into Dubai, we will likely hear that in our landing clearance video. Runway 30 left, clear to land, vacate Kilo 8, something like that. Peter, hello. Go back to cyclists. Cyclists are a pain everywhere. Near where we live was the Olympic route. Every weekend we got loads of them. Oh, yeah. I suppose that's a popular one though, isn't it? Because they've seen it on the Olympics and they want to go and have a go themselves, and a bit of a thrill in that sense. There's, I was going to say an airport, but it looks more to be an air base than anything else. Let's see, it is King Khaled Military City Airport, OEKK. So we are in Saudi Arabia, and that is a military city. Wow, this whole bit here. Didn't realise they had military cities. That's insane. It also explains why there's no satellite photogrammetry in this area. It's very blurry and patchy because it's militarised, like Malaga Airport, devoid of any good scenery because it's technically a military site. But look at it, it's pretty nasty. Saudi Arabia maybe blocks all this so you can't get good photogrammetry perhaps, I don't know. Weird. It's like flying on Minecraft. Yeah, I think it's half a six. Is it 6 of one, half a dozen of the other? Really? You get some absolute douchebag cyclists. Certainly where I live, they are proper pompous and up themselves. Even if you're stationary and they go whizzing past you, no gap whatsoever, it's you know, if they think you've done something wrong, even though it's their mistake for whizzing past you, they'll shout at you as they go past. But you literally you've stopped in the road to give them space because they are hooning down a hill at 30 miles an hour past you, and then they're giving you like the you know, some really pleasant signs. I just like laugh at them. I'm like, are you for real? They come past you with like, you know, brushing past your wing mirror. Yet if you did that to them in return, then, you know, they'd report you for dangerous driving. I'm going to start sending clips in of their faces to the police when they do super like tight passes. I'm going to report them for wanton and furious cycling. James says, I live in Wiltshire, there's a ton of military bases, so anything aviation is a nightmare. Have a drone, can hardly fly it anywhere. Yeah, drones in the UK are actually not really that legal. Most places. Yeah. Zato says in his country the worst ones are motorcycles. A lot of them have valid licenses, only to be hooligans that don't even know the basic laws. I think that's a little bit of a thing in the UK with people that are doing just like the 125s and that kind of thing. I think in the UK you get two types of riders, which is why I'm kind of looking more towards the adventure style or commuter bike, because I think every time you see a GS or you see a Triumph Tiger 900, you see them being ridden in a very particular and fairly calm way. But when you see somebody on a sports bike, a Kawasaki Ninja for example, something like that, you see those getting ridden in a particular way as well, don't you? They're just getting absolutely driven like a bat out of hell, tearing down the road. You hear them before you see them, that kind of style of riding. But then you get like the... Yeah, cyclist and motorist are two different things. But you can have so you've got motorist, anybody driving a motor vehicle. That includes a motorcycle and a car or a bus or whatever else. And then you have a cyclist, which is pedal cycle, a bicycle. Not to be confused with motorcycle. Yeah, you'd probably have the police knocking on your door, Andy, as well, for flying a drone that close to an airport. There's loads of rules with drones that people don't really understand, but DJI, you know, Chinese company, they don't give a toss about the laws in the UK, so they will say, you know, go and download this geofencing tool to make sure your drone flying is legal. What it actually does is it unblocks a lot of the geofencing around Heathrow and things. So it will look at the fence of Heathrow and it will then say, well, anything inside the fence you can't, that's illegal, anything outside is fine. So it will then unlock the drone for that, which is silly, because there's like an exclusion zone for any drones of 2 miles of the airfield. It's crazy. Yeah, not all cyclists are a scourge upon the road, J-Foot. Some of them are very respectful, some of them ride well, and all that kind of thing. But some of them are just they ride their bikes as their bicycles as if the car isn't allowed on the road. Andy says ideal motorbike for me is the Honda CL500. I'm going to Google that one. Sounds like the engine size is too small for me. Oh, it's A2 compatible though. Nah, it's too small. I can get full license. That's a cool looking bike though. Look at this. Oh, that's bloody lovely. Oh, tactical green. Oof. That does look really good. Matte Laurel green metallic. Oh, that looks wicked, doesn't it? Look at that fat exhaust as well. Not good for panniers though, because that pannier would have to come right out here, and I think that would probably be quite bad for filtering, wouldn't it? Very weird, Clipper. I'm not sure. There shouldn't be 10 ads in an hour, buddy, unless there's something really wrong with your kind of YouTube clients and things. But I've now basically half demonetized the stream because of that. Not ideal, and I now have a big pop-up. I have a new pop-up on my YouTube studio now. It says focus on your live stream and let YouTube insert ads for you. I've just tried that. Clearly, that's a new feature as well that they've pinged in a big button saying turn on. And yeah, ads are the way that kind of keep streams going, I guess. Nah, too late, Clipper. I've turned it off. You said that you had 10 in an hour, which I can't live with. 10's far too many if that's the case. It shouldn't be. It's this new thing that YouTube has put in. I don't understand how it works yet. So I've just turned it off. And I'll look into it another way. I found a setting for it, but it basically is kind of like half demonetized. There should be an ad at the start if you click into the stream, and that's basically it. 554 nautical miles, living the dream to run. I can't see you at all on TCAS. This is what I'm looking at for those of you who were not sure from yesterday. Ignore the price, again, like I said yesterday, because it's silly money. Look at that. Oof. Maybe in like a blue. James, very generous of you, nice. 5 channel memberships for a month, courtesy of James. Very, very kind of you there. Welcome to Andy, Rack, Alexander Mark II, Joel and Lefty Lab, Circuit Seller and Aviation Attic. Welcome, welcome guys. Courtesy of James, you've got a channel membership for a month. Use it. Make sure you connect into your into Discord with your YouTube account. GT Pro, that's the one that I like the look of. It's got kind of like big little fog lights there and stuff. Nice. Chain driven though, not shaft driven. Like a lot of the GS's are shaft driven. I'd have to learn how to tighten sprockets and things on that. Beautiful looking bike though. Handles there, nice for panniers. But again, the exhaust is quite high, so you'd have a pannier that sits right out here, but as long as it doesn't extend past the handlebars, it wouldn't be an issue for filtering, would it, I guess? And that's kind of like the style that I'm looking for. Beautiful looking bike, isn't it? Living the Dream says, when I was away last week, YouTube ads in the US were 3 to 4 times more frequent than here in the UK. My goodness. I think, Clippy, you're in the US, aren't you? Maybe there's something in that. I don't know. Those of you in the States that have visited the UK before or vice versa, do you agree with that? Bad one. Badger says in Southport there are cyclist lanes, and most of them get used, but there are a few that don't. Like I remember an old lady got knocked down, blamed her, the cyclist blamed her for being in the way. Wow. Hopefully he got prosecuted. And hopefully she was okay. Ian says, massive petrol head, but I just can't get into bikes. Sometimes I wish I could. They just don't do it for me. I was like that. I was like that for a while. Yeah, and then I found that this little seed has started to grow. Yeah. And now I can't. I have to do it. I have to try. At least experience it with the course. Sebastian says it's too hot for me to cycle. It's 50 degrees outside most of the time. Too hot to motorcycle in that weather as well, surely. Oh, give me air conditioning permanently there. That might be living the dream actually, on a slightly different routing. 2,000 below, 40 miles for an overtake. Vroom vroom, Mach 89, here we go. BMW M3, beautiful car, Andy. Lovely car. I miss my 5 Series. I have a bloomin' hybrid Kia now, thanks to the mayor and his stupid policies. I do like my new car, but there's something about my BMW that I just really miss. I love the power delivery and the way that it drives. It wasn't like an M5 or anything like it. It was a 520D M Sport, but it was just a beautiful machine. So well balanced, power in the right places, drove really nicely. I loved it. I had it for quite a few years. Just lovely, lovely, lovely. It's the V8 version and it's ULEZ compliant. Love it. That's fantastic. Maybe I should have bought an M3. And then gone outside the Mopac office and binned the accelerator in front of the mayor. And he said he's had motorbikes for years, had a few monster bikes, Kawasaki Z750, Suzuki GSR R1100 or 1100, and the rarest Suzy 8N85 Turbo. Not heard of that one either. Ooh. F10 was my 5 Series JP sim racing. Bobby says, what do you think of the old Honda Goldwings from the mid-90s? Well, I always thought that you could never be not seen in a Goldwing, if that makes sense, because of how bright they are. But then I was watching a video the other day, somebody got knocked off it. And they are crazy money. In the UK, £25,000. Look at the size of that thing. Massive. Absolutely massive. Very prestigious bike this though. Very, very prestigious bike. Crazy cash though. It's like £25,000, which is 32,000 US dollars for a motorbike. I could literally buy a BMW for that cost, like a 3 Series. Yeah, I've never been a fan of Harleys, not the high handlebar ones. They've got some sport ones that are quite nice. They are quite nice. Harley Davidson. Let's have a little look. Yeah, these high bar things aren't great, but if we go to Sportster S, they've got like these kind of things, 2023 Sportsters. Look at that. Low bars, low ride. Very Knight Rider, very Batman-esque. Beautiful bikes. The styling are stunning on those. But they've got, where is it? Electric. Oh, electric vehicles. Weird they call it an electric vehicle though. Livewire 1, there we go. That's their electric bike. Used to be called the Harley Davidson Livewire, but now they've changed it to the Livewire 1 like it's its own thing. But look, starting price 22,990. That's a Volkswagen Golf, or a Volkswagen Rabbit, I think it is the equivalent of, for those of you in the US. Yeah, would you spend $30,000 US on an electric motorbike? Probably not. I wouldn't. What the? Oh, get yourself a Harley Davidson pedal cycle. What are they becoming? That's insane. Serial 1 at e-bike. God, we're discovering all sorts of weirdness today. Harley Davidson push bike. Wilfredo, good morning to you. Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, that's your problem there, JP Sim Racing in London, isn't it? It's great for riding bikes in the sense that you can get around all that horrendous traffic, but guaranteed to be stolen within about 3 days. Where's that Triumph with a straight 6, Andy says? Was it the Bonneville? Somebody mentioned yesterday. Yeah, Ducati Multistrada actually was one that I was looking at, but it's just a bit too high, maybe a bit too heavy for me for a first bike Flying Panda. 1200cc as well, nice for the roads, nice for the motorways. Mike says, I never knew Golfs were called the Rabbit in the US. Normally, until I was in the States and I saw a Golf go past, I was like, oh, it's a Golf. They said Rabbit on the back. I very much like the Kuro 787 Wilfredo, it's great. Really good for freeware. I don't know what Mama Liga is. Automated says it doesn't ride bikes, but he always liked the Buells when they rode by. Roman says the GP Z750 Turbo was a better bike than the XN85 and also just as rare. I got 2 engine gas recirculation recalls for my F10 Aeronaut. I had one and then I had to go back for another, and then on that second one they went, oh, we've already done it. I said, yeah, you did it a year ago. But it's been recalled again apparently, and then they were scratching their head and then they replaced it with another new one. But I moved house and I broke the suspension and one of the rear wheels by packing loads of stuff into my car and driving it to where I now live. Yeah. Oh, Mitchell says that in the US they're called both out here. My boss's daughter had a Golf Rabbit, same vehicle. Oh, now I'm really confused. See, I'm suspicious of all these recalls. I think that they've created... that's how they get around the emissions, I think. And I reckon the cars aren't as low emission as they pretend to be. But what they do is they then create a DPF or an EGR, that kind of mechanism inside the car, but designed to only work for a couple of years before getting completely clogged up because it takes too much in and gets way too sooty and dirty. So I then reckon they quote unquote recall them to deal with a fault that could be a fire risk, and then all of a sudden it would be fixed and you'd be fine again for another few years. Yes, the Volkswagen Audi group. Could never trust them again. They're all at it, aren't they? Mercedes have been caught out now as well. finally, water. No, EV cars are dirty as heck. OMDB. How long we got left? 2/3. Approach Delta. Arrival runway 30 left. Which is good because that's what we've configured for. So I'm just going to commit to the arrival now, I think, and then we'll just see how we go. Though apparently we still have 5 pages left of waypoints. Maybe I won't. We've still got a way to go, haven't we? Let's be real. Mitchell says we cut the DPF system out of our work truck. My goodness. I suppose you could do that in the US, couldn't you? Here, that would be you'd have your car fail its MOT for that. Right, I'll be back in a moment, folks. So I've got to go and check the dog, make sure he's okay. Top up some water as well. It's baking hot now. It's stopped raining here, so I need to get out with some tracky bottoms, get into some shorts, and get some water to freshen or rehydrate. Woof woof indeed. There we go. Thanks for waiting, folks. Much cooler. There we go. For those of you who don't know, my dog back in June had a hip operation. His third hip operation, because he'd had 2 going a little while ago, growing up from the age of 1. Hip and elbow dysplasia. So he had them both done by, in the UK you might know, having seen him on TV, Super Vet, Noel Fitzpatrick. He put 1 hip in, 6 months later he then, our dog had his other hip done. Because they were both kind of displaced, which means that the ball of the hip doesn't sit in the socket properly and it just rubs. It's very painful and eventually they go lame. German Shepherd. So we had them both done. But one of them turns out was a botched job, and he didn't actually tell us that it was going to fail after a couple of years. He pretended like it would last his whole life, but it then completely dislocated and failed back in March. We then had to kind of consider a couple of options, and one of those options was have the dislocated, failed hip replacement it surgically removed out of his leg and from his hip joint, and then I have a brand new one put back in again, and then for him to put his leg back together. So that's what we ended up doing. So since June he's been recovering now. He's over the halfway point. His x-rays the other day looked really, really good, which is really promising. But he's still on some, it's called trazodone, some medication which is there to kind of de-stress and take his anxiety away, but also kind of keep him chill and keep him resting. The problem is that is now one of the side effects of that is, you know, because he's been on it for such a prolonged period of time now, it's like an incontinence. So every hour and a bit, we've got to make sure he's gone to the toilet and emptied his bladder. Because the poor boy can't hold it in that well anymore. So definitely pooed myself then when I just saw blue. Yeah, he basically just chances it, but also kind of makes it up and makes it sound rosier than it actually is. Pretends like he's fixed something when he hasn't. It's probably another way, another kind of way of putting it. But yeah, he can't be trusted. Turns out lots and lots of people have had a similar, fairly poor experience of him. And he's got a bit of a name in the industry for it, apparently, which is not surprising given what we've gone through. So it's one of those things, isn't it? You see, we went to him because we saw on TV what amazing things that he can do, and we were like, you know what, this is the guy that can save our dog. And he did, really, he did, but he's also a bit of a fibber, and he makes it look good for telly. But we're getting there. We've got another 4 weeks left until he's officially signed off, but the physiotherapy goes on for, you know, for the next 6+ months. Really intense. We've got cones in the garden now with these little like plastic bars. They go into the cones, and he has to go through these 6 different like hurdles. Basically, he has to go through like 6 different hurdles, just lifting his foot up, just to gently step over each one. It's only about 5 centimeters off the ground, but it's just to make him use the muscles that we're building in his legs now to kind of pull his leg up and rotate over the hurdle to step over little objects. And once he gets the strength there, we then move it up another level and we keep stepping through. It's so energy absorbing, but you've got to do it. But he's doing really well. He's a brave lad. Oh, have I already gone past you, Graham? I've gone past some of it. Have I gone past living the dream? I think I've gone sailing past without even noticing. Whoa, that's not good. TC, hello. Yeah, let's price it all up again. Gabrielle, hello. Why not an Osprey livery? Because this today is a real-world route with Royal Jordanian, so we thought it's actually quite a cool livery, isn't it? Let's fly it. Let's use it for once. Something a bit different. How are we doing in the back here? Let's have a quick check on self-loading cargo. Hey, there's nothing shoddy about the 737-800. It's one of the best aircraft in the sim. Full stop. My favourite aircraft in the sim currently, that. But it's just no match for speed for the Dreamliner. Oh my goodness. Let me go sort the dog out, and then I will have a look at Volanta when we get back. Yeah, his voice is fine, Rab. Yeah, my hearing protection for my motorbike has been delivered. They've only like a default standard Auratech foam squidgy headset, ear inserts. I haven't got custom ones yet, but I do want to get some of those. Gosgenics, only on Xbox as I can't afford a PC at the moment. Would you recommend getting Deluxe Premium? Do you have Microsoft Flight Simulator already? Because if you don't, then yeah, go straight in for Premium Deluxe Edition. But if you do already have Microsoft Flight Simulator, then it's not worth paying the 50 odd quid for an upgrade. And you can't get the 787-8, don't forget, only the -10. Right, we were going to look at Volanta, weren't we? Living the Dreams photographs. Screenshots of us sailing on past. There he is. Oh, look at that! Zooming past. That's a great screenshot, curving around in the sky there. In his little Airbus. Oh, loads of screenshots. Awesome. Yeah, look at that, sailing past behind, catching up, right on the backdrop there. Great, screen grabs. It's bizarre, isn't it? Because it's actually a much longer flight than you'd realise. I've already looked at those ones. Jolly good. I wonder if they're on VATSIM. They are. Emirates 8 Papa Zulu at flight level 410. We might be arriving roughly the same time as similar. We're catching him up. About 20 minutes ahead of us, I think. 30 minutes ahead though, to be fair. Zato, let's have a look at his screen grabs. Yeah, there is outbound 2 so far. Then we've got Fly Dubai 7 Kilo Lima. Over Al Jabail. Don Carlito, Osprey 784. Lovely. Picked off that too quick. Yeah, headwind A330. Then Royal Jordanian 640 to end the pack. Grant behind. No screen grabs. We had somebody from Baku, didn't we? There he is. Aviation simulation in his A320. Flying Azerbaijan Airlines. That looks very nice and scenic. Look at those mountains. Oof. Baku's still to this day the weirdest country I've ever flown to and been to in the world. Someone else as well, Fly Dubai, flying in. There's a few flying in here. Hazza, Emirates 395. Might be flying offline there though. I think that's all of us, all of them. Jolly good. Work, Doc. When I was crew, it was a route inherited by BA from BMI when BMI collapsed. Very bizarre place. Roy, welcome. Aaron's just spotted Lowy. Brumelian in Reunion. Hello to you as well. Welcome. Sava, appreciate it. Not too far to go now to top of descent. Look, 160 miles just over until Vuteb. Oh no, you definitely don't want to go on holiday there. No, kind of a business carrier clipper to be fair. Baku was a route for the oil rigs, so oil fields basically. Right, what are we doing? Vuteb 30 left. So let's get this ready via Aldot. There we go, we'll add that in. Happy days. Right. So over the Persian Gulf, we're making progress over that currently, and then heading via Vuteb into Dubai, initially routing via Patid, and then heading downwind. Size Gosgenics. Yeah, Vuteb, Lovok, Delta Bravo 529. And then we're doing the Vuteb 3 Charlie arrival, which is this one apparently. So 119 degrees, following it downwind through Gurgo, Ridev, down to 185 knots for Delta Bravo 508, so that waypoint there. Which then means that we will have to extend flaps, because we can't fly that slow and be clean in the Dreamliner. So we're probably going to be flap 5 at least, maybe flap 15 at 185 knots there. Turning then down on base, and then Delta Bravo 505 to head into the airport via Aldot. Onto the ILS 30 left. We'll configure for Cat 2, but again, if we don't get nice and stable, I'll turn the auto thrust off and the autopilot off, and we'll hand fly the approach. So from Aldot, fly in at 2,000 feet to Sedpo. From there, modus mandatory 2,000, 6 DME, and then final approach. 3-degree glide slope, the glide path angle, and our minimums on the rad out 100 feet. Missed approach for this is climb direct to Delta Bravo 707. This is basically fly runway heading until you are abeam the end of the runway for 30 right. From there, 284 degrees to egg knot and hold at 3,000. And egg knot is there in that little inset. I have not made any flights to Chisinau, no, not yet. When we vacate, we've got to think it was a kilo 8, wasn't it? So that's there. 2/3 of the way down the runway. Oh no, it's there, isn't it? So just over the halfway point for the runway. So we've got to take that into account for our braking performance. If we brake too hard, we might have to come off the auto brake and then let the aeroplane just roll up to kilo 8 and then manually brake to 50 knots to then leave at the high speed exit. If we don't have enough brakes set though, we could potentially overrun that and then get told off by tower for vacating at kilo 6 when we're meant to vacate at kilo 8. So again, we might have to intervene and use manual brakes to decelerate a bit quicker there to come off at kilo 8. That's the one that we get told to vacate at. And then we have to find our parking, which I'm not sure. Well, I haven't wrote it down, so I'm not sure where we would park, to be fair. I'm sure Doc in the chat, if he's still around, might remind us. Taxi charts, we scroll all the way down to, look at that, chuffing neck. C52, there you go, thanks Doc. Which is Concourse D, all the way down the bottom. Scribble that down. Tower might give us something entirely different, but we'll just go with whatever we get. But that's good though, because that means we can pin that chart and we know that our taxi route will be on there. Kilo 8, just in the corner of the chart, look. And then zipping all the way across to Charlie 52, potentially. So always look at where you're going to be going after vacating the runway as well, roughly as best as you can. But with that in mind, let's punch in the star. And I'm going to just get the Dubai OMDB ATIS back up again from VATSIM.
Hello.
Hi, Captain. Just
310 at 15,
if everything
temperature
is
36, dew point 26,
Yes,
QNH
everything is fine.
1002.
Thanks for asking.
Great. Just give me a buzz if you need anything.
Oh no, it's arrivals is the top one now. Yeah, vacate kilo 8. There we go. Arrival runway 30 left. Jolly good. Right, so ILS 30 left via Uldot, and we want the VTEB 3 Charlie. So we're going to go next page, VTEB 3 Charlie. Execute. And then we can just have a little run through here and compare that against what we've just discussed a moment ago. So VTEB, Lovok, 529 patted 530, 513 Gergo, Belar Ridev, and then speed restriction of 185 at 508, Dubai 508. There's Uldot, SEDPO modus, final approach, and then the missed approach to the hold at Eggnot. Lovely. Runway 30 left for the fix. Chuffing egg. What's it wrote out? That's here. Let's try. OMDB. 30 left. Let's see if it takes this. I don't think it does. Nope. Let's try IDBW. Bang on, that should be correct. Distance 176. That's the 4-letter code for the ILS. So if that starts to count down there we go, that's definitely going to be correct then. We want 6 miles. And I'll do 10. A hood would be really useful to taxi purposes for pilots, so maybe that will be incorporated one day, Scotty 2. There is one. Ooh, shice. Switch off your neck. I knocked my autopilot disconnect button there.
Good afternoon once again from the cockpit. As you've probably noticed, we've started our descent. We should be arriving in around 20 minutes depending on local air traffic, and I will shortly be instructing the cabin crew to get the cabin ready for our arrival. Once that happens, the seatbelt sign will be illuminated and you will be required to stay seated and secured until after landing. If you need to visit the toilet, it may be worth making your way towards one now. You'll next hear from me after landing, so I will wish you a very good afternoon once again, and I'll speak to you in a short while.
Hi, Captain.
I can't do the 10 minutes to...
Hello.
How's it going?
I can't do the
Much to
thing.
report. Everything seems to be going okay.
Well, now it thinks we're descending.
Okay, thank you.
I
I'll speak
can't
to
bother
you in a
myself
bit.
loading cargo.
Thank you.
It's getting more and more frustrating. Right, let's look at VAS Airplane Toolbox. What are we doing? Completely forgot. IDVW, let's go to... There's the missed approach, there's our 2 fixed rings. Navrad. ILS treble 13, let's compare the charts. Treble 13 and 299 for the inbound course, so 299 and 111.3, there we go, good. Good spot, Doc. We'll leave those VORs to auto-tune. I'm not going to use any ADFs either. VNAV. Forecast. Transition is 150. And then we're going to pick a couple of winds from our OFP. I'm just going to put a few in. I'm not going to go crazy with it. Where is it? So flight level 310, 282 at 007. Flight level 200. Flight level 150. 32 at 14. And then 10,000 feet. 29 at 14. .44 nautical miles to go. Right, then we can look at VAS Airplane Toolbox. We're going to go to landing tab and 30 left. So headwind 6, crosswind 2 knots, according to that little map there. Full length. Now we'll take 150 meters out of that. So for, oops, wrong one. 4300, that'll do. Just round it. Dry. There's the QNH. Landing weight. Reverses both. Bingo. So I'm going to go for auto brake 2 and reverse thrust. We'll then use manual brakes as we get near to kilo 8 to vacate. Though there's not much difference between 2 and 3. That's good anyway. Flap 25 is suggested here, so not using full flaps for this either. So we can put that in. Approach ref 158.3. I might use 500 kilos at that time, so I'll do that. And then flap 25, we'll select that in the box. If we're lighter, that's fine, and then auto brake set to 2. So that's good, that's good, that's good. This crew have already been advised about descent. Minimum's 100, which we need to change to radio for the Cat 2. We'll scroll up to 100, scroll far too fast. 100, happy days. Bobby, if approach comes on, then we'll go with that. But we will fly the full procedure because we've got loads of people around us as well. But it works with not only what we're doing, but what other people are doing around us as well. So if we've got lots of aeroplanes flying in and around us, we might notice that actually, if we cut the approach short slightly, then it will be beneficial for vectoring ourselves to fit in with the traffic around us. Maybe to help somebody in behind or someone in after us or something like that. So usually, certainly, usually you try not to. 11875 is for tower. We'll tune into those, ready to go. Park brakes off. LNAV, VNAV. And we'll do a recall check. FMC message. MCP altitude is set to cruise, set lower to enable VNAV descent. So that's warning us now. We're about to hit the top of descent. We're going to set. VTEB, where are we at? Below 12, below 11, above 8, offset 8. For now then, VNAV is active. Just before we go back to top of descent, don't forget for VNAV descent here, 305 indicated, or Mach decimal 82. We're doing Mach 88, so we need to let the aeroplane decelerate a bit. And this is a slippy jet, don't forget as well. So with that in mind, I'm going to now go back to managed speed, unable to maintain VNAV descent speed, extends speed brakes as required. Quite a preemptive message that. Again, the Dreamliner's slippy anyway, so we have to make sure that we are keeping an eye on it, because we will need to intervene with speed brake in descent. We just have to in the Dreamliner. It's the way it is. But getting our speed back on profile before we reach our VNAV descent. Nick Jake, welcome. Hope you're well. What else have we forgot here? Cancel recall. We'll do another recall because we had that FMC warning there. So we'll do another recall before to make sure we've cleared it and dealt with whatever it was trying to throw at us. And a quick glance at the overhead cabin, the overhead lights. Ah, chopping it. Where's the landing elevation? No. We'll leave it in auto then for now. Can't think where that is. Right, absolutely is, yeah. If you've got the 787-10, the Sobo one included in MSFS Deluxe, Premium Deluxe, then 100% try it. The cabin tab. I don't have a cabin tab. I thought it would have been in air. That's where I thought it would have been. But it's not. Not any of them. That's where I went to first. Went into the air tab. Maybe if I pull it. Oops. Oh, jumping egg. Give it a little twiddle. No. Come here, right packs, left packs. Ah! Right there, 200 manual. 111. Minus 100 manual. 0 manual. So it goes up in increments of 100, and that's the closest we can get to. There it is. My goodness, it was literally there the whole time. Ugh. That's what happens when you're lacking in familiarity with an aeroplane a little bit. So here, the aeroplane's speed is kind of running away from us a bit, and it's trying to maintain VNAV path of descent at 3,500 foot per minute, but it's also slowly accelerating, and that's because it's a very aerodynamic aeroplane, and therefore it's silky smooth and it's just getting slippery. So we'll open the speed brakes to flight to 10 for the descent. Got to try and help it out. So ran out QNH and the minimum set, the ILS is set, cross-checked, approach data is done and set checked, and we're descending down. It's information Delta. I'm just teasing the speed brake back in again there, just slowly. To be fair, we can pop it out to the arm position as well. Might forget about it in a little while. Grab, exciting, this is the first time landing in Dubai. This is my first time landing in Dubai with the Orbx landmarks pack, so I am looking forward to that. Not sure how much of it we will see though, so we've got the Palm and the World and bits all down here. Sebastian says you could take shortcut from Velar to Aldot at 2000. Could do. Have you looked at the sequencing further out then to see that that's possible? Because I always worry on kind of Unicom without approach controllers and things that you end up cutting someone up and it goes a bit wrong. Sebastian, by the way, is one of our Dubai controllers on the VATSIM network today as we fly in. Big thanks to him. Sebastian says usually the vector even shorter than Aldot. Where's Velar? 7,000.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned the seatbelt signs on. Please take your seats.
Blue on the nav
Now
display is our
remain
missed
seated until
approach.
the signs are turned off. Thank you.
A little bit of sea fog there, look. Ah, there's the palm. Look how far down it is, and then you got the other bits down there. There's the world one. Kind of each little island is a shape of, roughly a shape of a country that we kind of recognise. Then Dubai Airport is there, I think. Let's see what we get when we get there. Not far to go. I've got the Orbx City Landmarks pack. I've also got the other bits. What you call it? Yeah, the world that no one lives on after they abandoned it. Absolutely clipper. Yeah, what a waste of money and resources, and a complete destruction of the environment that was. Yeah, we got the enhancement as well from QNH997. I think it is on flightsim.to. Very nice. 12,000 at or below. I'm going to go vertical speed mode here and try and do what Sebastian was suggesting. So we get to Velar, which is up here somewhere after Gurgo, and then we'll turn in and vector in at 2,000 final approach. So we'll do a bit of self-vectoring as well. Brimalian saying, trying to decide what to buy between the PMDG and the Fenix, leaning more towards PMDG though, because Fenix will be redundant with A32NX even if better. Yeah, if you want variety, get a Boeing. Get a Boeing 737. It's a much more involved flight deck experience for flight simming as well. It's a beautiful package, performs very well. I love it. That is still my favourite aircraft in the sim.
Cabin crew, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
So out of the two, if you're looking at buying them, if you're enjoying the Flabaware A32NX, then throw in the, throw yourself into the 737-800. Norman Lawrence, welcome buddy, thanks for subscribing to the channel.
Remember to turn off all electronic devices until after landing. Thank you.
Yeah, the PMDG 777, absolutely, that is the one I'm looking forward to the most. So, VTEB at 230 knots, we are there precisely, below 12,000. Tick. Lovelock below 11. About 8,000 above DB 529. Just vary our rate of descent here. And we'll go down to 7. A bit of work to do for us actually. From DB 530, no sorry, at Patted, we'll have 10, 15, 23 miles, 20 miles to Velar, and then we'll self-vector around to Uldot to 2,000. So we've got a fair bit of height to lose in a short while. But we're almost there, folks. And interestingly, oof. I was wondering what happened there. It's obviously loading it all in because I don't want spoilers. Speed brake arm is a bit of an interesting one actually because it's sticking them out in my aeroplane. I think it was loading in some of the scenery because it stuttered like mad just then. There's Dubai Airport. Through 10. Lights. Let's put the logo light on as well. Let's see how the crew are doing. A few more rows left. Cabin secure. Oh, look at that. That's cool. Very neat. Dubai traffic, Jordanian 614 heavy with Delta currently descending through the VUTEB 3 Charlie arrival, expecting ILS 30 left. Intending to vector from Bella to Uldot and will report turning Dubai traffic. I think this is the first time flying to Dubai with the RTX 4090, is it not? Keep smashing the like button if you're enjoying today's live stream as well, folks. It's loading in the Orbx landmarks, which you can see over there, slowly popping in. Hence the little stutters every now and again, even in a 4090. Hit at 7. Okay, yeah, auto brake is armed. Hey Rab, I've done well to catch you up. 1 to go. Should be a great view over the right hand side of the aircraft here. Passing over Dubai airport and everything else. There goes the music. It's a very busy nav display, that. There's Dubai. $210 knots now, so through minimum clean as we spoke about earlier. We're going to go flaps 1. Look at this. Crikey. There you are. If ever we weren't sure about where we were flying, that picture alone there gives us a whopper of a clue, doesn't it? Yeah, Rab, that's the Orbx landmarks. And there's the airport. That's the cabin secure
Hello.
from the crew.
Hi, Captain. Everything is secured, ready for landing.
Thanks.
No worries. If you let me know when you're ready to land, I'll make sure I get seated along with the rest of the crew.
You can take your seats now. We're almost ready.
Oh, good.
No problem. All stations, seats for landing, please.
Okay, then we want 2,000, don't we? So 3 patted at 210. Bring our speed down to 200 for now. I'm just going to let this stabilise a bit. 180. Yeah, 180. Lap 5. $1,000. Go on, stabilise. Just beyond Velar, that's where I want the banana. Okay, 900 foot per minute it is. Jolly good. And we go to this view. Oh, look at that. There's $1 million screenshot right there. How good does that look, folks? Outside the jet. And the passengers at the back. Kind of get that view. Focus on what we're doing though. It's a very busy stage of flight for us now. We go to 700 foot per minute. It says your graphics. Yeah, those of you who can, you will be able to watch this in 2K 60 frames per second on the stream output. So now's the time to, if you've got the broadband speed for it, to really ramp this up. Trillion gazillion dollar part of the world, I guess. Yeah, it's probably a more accurate way of saying it. What an approach in beautiful sunset too. So final checks, lights and signs. Icing as required, pressure's all set, and we've briefed for the missed approach as well. Vector in for 2000, level by SEDPO, which is fine. Ahmed, will I use the heads-up display? No, because I hate it. I hate heads-up displays in civilian aeroplanes. I just find them stupidly distracting and completely unnecessary. I prefer the Mark 1 eyeball, as it's known, i.e. just looking and judging for yourself without a big glass screen in the way. I much prefer no hood. I actively avoid them, in fact. It's such worry because I don't know if I'm going to be in anybody's way on this approach. Somebody, UAE 68 has gone all the way to the bottom. Yeah, look, he's there. Joffinek. So he hasn't announced what he's doing, which has completely screwed our plan. Because by the time we reach Velar, right, so that means we're gonna have to bin this rate of descent off. I was gonna say, by the time we reach Velar now, he's flown the entire procedure. As we turn at Velar, he's gonna be at the same place at the same time, which is not good. That's because he hasn't announced his intentions. That's completely stuffed us. That's one of the things not to do on Unicom, folks. Tell people what you're doing. Like I did. I transmitted early to say I'm going to turn here. This is my intention, so people on Unicom know.
Flight traffic, Emirates 902 at 6,000 for 4,000 inbound.
Sebastian says shortcut to SEDPO as well if he isn't there yet. He's DB504 though.
30 left, we will call Velar. Goodbye traffic.
I'm not going to risk it, Sebastian. You know what Unicom is like. And some VATSIM supervisors sometimes. They can get unhappy. I'll just vector in around him, it's all fine. For now I'm going to hold 4,000 feet. There he is, I can see his lights now, so I'm visual with him. Part of me wants to cut him up because he hasn't transmitted anything to make a point. But then that would be the wrong thing to do. So I'll just moan about it instead. Absolutely, Mike. It's really bloody annoying, isn't it? Yeah, crazy colours, isn't it? Look at that. Oof, chuffing heck. Yeah, Dubai Airport's all the way over there. That's why it's crazy this guy has flown so far out, I suppose, especially when he's the only one in. Alright, let's go to heading select mode now. Yeah, I mean this guy isn't even transmitting anything, so... Hang on, Mitchell, yeah, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Max 185. We'll go to 600 foot. We'll go to 800 foot per minute. And there we go at Velar. So actually, we can make our turn quite nicely here. This is where we're reliant on him flying accurately. So 210. Oh, chuffing heck. There we go. We don't need terrain mode. So 210 initially, then 270 for ILS establishment. Sebastian staying there, thank you very much. Dubai traffic, Jordanian 614 heavies, turning base at Velar. Will be establishing for ILS 30 left in approximately 2 minutes, contacting tower 11875. So 180, we'll keep our speed up. And we'll keep the turn going. 270.
Dubai Tower, good day. Emirates 68 with information Delta is established at 30 left.
Emirates 68, Dubai Tower, good evening. Wind is 350 at 8 knots. Vacate to the left of Kilo 8. Runway is 30 left, please land.
Flap 15. It's going to help drag.
We'll vacate via Kilo 8 for Emirates 68.
Approach mode arm. Thanks, Sebastian. I always feel the pressure when everybody's watching. 16 DME, so we've got miles and miles yet. We don't need to worry too much about really rushing to decelerate the jet. And we've got 7 miles separation for the chap in front. So yeah, he's contacted tower now. So he's one of those pilots who doesn't use Unicom, which is not great. Doesn't help anyone else. Okay, so everything's set and checked. Let's call it a tap. Evening, Jordanian 614 heavy, Boeing 787-8 with information Delta QNH 1002, established ILS 30 left, 14 miles.
Jordanian 614, Dubai, good evening. Number 2 in sequence, continue approach 30 left. Plan to vacate to left by Kilo 8, wind is 350 at 8 knots.
Number 2, continue and vacate Kilo 8, Jordanian 614. So there we go, we spoke about that earlier on, didn't we, about mentioning the vacates with the runway, so we've got to try and plan our vacate now, right there, just over the halfway point. And yeah, what a beautiful approach. Speed to flap 15, Granny Smith. Well, we're still within a flap 5 speed. But I've gone to flap 15 just to maybe kind of lock in the drag profile of the jet, because very soon we're going to decelerate to 160, so I want the extra drag basically. This. Beautiful. This flight sim is just bloody brilliant, isn't it? Microsoft Flight Simulator, absolutely on point. Oh, there we are. Can you guess where we're flying? Look at that for a screenshot. And there's Doobs in the background. Oh. Okay, let's focus now. We're going to go speed 180, gear down, reduce to 160. Init ref 158, perfect, that's what we calculated for. 139, so 144 for our approach speeds. Gear down and green. Flap 20. Back flap 25, let's go. Final approach set. Chris King, you can just go into the descent page and hit descent now. Look at that. Woo. Beautiful. 141, let's get that set, because he's only just on the runway now, so we've got exactly 5 miles separation, but how beautiful is that? Okay, let's just reset my views, control visualizer for you folks watching, so you can see the control inputs I'm making. Make sure heading is set. My throttles. Just get nice and stable with that. 1 taking off on 30 right. Oh, what a time to land. And then we'll hand fly the rest in from now, shall we? We could do an auto land, but that's no fun. My controls, autopilot off. Check.
Jordan 614, traffic is vacating runway 30 left, keep that.
Roger, Jordanian 614.
Okay, 1 Sierra Alpha, Jordan for the AT online, motor call 128.
I don't know if he said I'm clear to land. He just said he's vacating left on Alpha. Kilo, I think.
Emirates 8 taxi right on to Kilo, Horschel, Kilo, Lima.
What a stunning view this is. Jordanian 614, confirmed clear to land.
Clear to land, sir, yes.
Clear to land, thanks, Jordanian 614.
You're welcome.
I misheard that first. I think he must have said that in the last transmission, but I misheard him. Thought, if you're not sure, just ask. Don't be afraid of asking the question, folks. What a beautiful sunset this is. What an arrival. Little crosswind. Just giving us a bit of work to do. Speed's good, it's nice and stable, 0 at 2 wide. And we focus hard now. Throwing average into the end of the runway. Now for depth perception.
Bravo, good evening, number 3 in sequence, continue approach 3 left, wind 350 at 8 knots, and plan to vacate left by kilo 8.
Continue 30
little
left,
firm.
third
Those
sequence.
will slam down pretty square actually. That's
on kilo 8.
bizarre rudder inputs actually. I've not experienced that before. 90 knots. Been off the auto brake.
By 7 kilo about good evening, number 2 in sequence, continue approach, wind
And we'll keep the speed up to 70 knots now.
And plan to vacate left by kilo 8.
Number 2, continue
On the touchdown zone for the touchdown, or within the touchdown zone, bang on the scent line, but firm at 338, kilo 9.
1
way decimal 354 in 68.
Is that 1 kilo 8 for the sign? Here we go. And 11835.
Sky by 7 km, traffic ahead is vacating, runway 3 left, equal cam.
And we're on the brakes.
Land 30 left, Sky by 7 kilo Lima.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Jordan
we have arrived at our
614 taxi
destination.
left onto Juliet 2,
The local
off-road
time
Juliet
is
2 Bravo.
6:47 p.m. It's currently
Left
very
onto
hot
Juliet
36
2
degrees
and
Celsius outside. That's
to contact
97
ground
Fahrenheit.
for Jordanian 614.
Please check around your seats and
negative,
personal belongings
also
you may
Juliet
have
2
brought on
Bravo.
board with you, and please use caution when opening the overhead bins, as heavy articles may have shifted around during the flight.
Ah, Juliet
If you
2.
require deplaning assistance, please remain in your seat until all other passengers have deplaned. One of our
Kilo
crew
8.
members will then be pleased to assist you. Please remain seated until the aircraft reaches the gate. The captain will turn off the
clear that.
seatbelt sign once it's safe to get up. Thanks
Weird,
very
my
much.
rudder settings have got super twitchy look.
Cabin crew, disarm the doors, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated until the captain turns off the seatbelt sign. Once that happens, we will start deboarding and you'll be able to leave the aircraft. Thank you.
Jordanian 614, contact ground 118.35.
Contact ground 11835, Jordanian 614, thanks. Good night.
Good night.
Cabin crew, doors to manual, please.
1835. Dubai ground, good evening, Jordanian 614. Currently vacated on Juliet 2, request taxi to the gates.
Royal Jordanian 614 Dubai ground. Hello, welcome to Dubai. Taxi 010 via Juliet 2 and Juliet.
Taxi Juliet 2 and Juliet, sorry you broke on the stand number, Jordanian 614.
Stand Bravo 10.
Bravo 10, Juliet 2, Juliet, Jordanian 1614, thanks. Drop your neck. Don't know where I'm going. Bravo 10. Donata. Juliet 2. Hold on a second.
Jordanian 614, continue Whiskey 1, rejoin Juliet 2.
Whiskey 1 and rejoin Juliet. I think my signs are all a little messed up here. Thanks, Jordanian 614. Weird. Might have been my mistake there. But I'd already positioned away from it, so couldn't really do much else. But I saw Whiskey Alpha there and I thought that ain't correct. I'm on Juliet, there's no way it would say Whiskey Alpha and then the sign beyond it said Whiskey. But the one before that said Juliet, so completely threw me off. Anyway, welcome to Dubai, folks.
And Emirates 68 at Foxtrot 25, thanks for the service and have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
I can see Juliet now on my charts. Oh, it's the wide lane. Look at that view. Oh. Dubai City Landmarks back by Orbx. What a view that is. Budavir, yes, it's the Tobii Eye Tracker 5, but I only really use it on the ground, to be honest with you. But you can have a look on their website, tobii.gg/BritishAvGeek.
Dubai ground, good day. Qatar A31 request IFR clearance to Doha with information echo.
Qatar A31 cleared to Doha. Navix 3 Fox on departure, runway 30, maintain altitude 4,000 feet, squawk 0537.
Roger, we are clear to Doha via Navix 3 Foxford. Climb and maintain after departure 4,000 feet, squawk 0537, Qatar A31.
I will maintain Juliet.
Qatar A31, read back correct. Information echo, advisory for pushing stop.
Dubai ground, good evening, Sky Dubai 7 Kilo Lima, taxiing Kilo to hold Kilo Golf.
Sky Dubai 7 Kilo Lima, Dubai ground, hello, continue Kilo, right Lima 3, hold short Mike 2 for
100% neutral, but it's like we're constantly turning. Jay, you weren't a pain at all, buddy. Don't worry about it.
Lima 3 and hold short.
Something to bear in mind on Unicom, always, certainly when you can see other aircraft flying in as well, always try and announce what you're doing so that they can then just work out what to do around you, that's all. Really, really important, because then it just makes it kind of smoother for everybody. And then I could have potentially cut in front of you then and caused you a problem instead of you causing me a problem. You never caused me a problem. I was just trying to work out what you were doing. That's all. But if I had turned when I was going to take that shortcut earlier, then I would have got in your way, if that makes sense. Bravo 10. There it is. Ta-da! So, taxi lights off, and we're turning. Jay, no worries at all. If you're not sure, have a look at my VATSIM tutorial for it, buddy. There's I've done one on specifically about Unicom actually, to help with just a couple of tips and tricks. No hard set written rule about Unicom, but it's just trying to kind of make it smooth for everybody. So do check that out. It's a shortish video. Come on, Marshaller. There we go. I can't believe he's wearing a high-vis coat. He must be absolutely baking, this guy. Here we go, for the stop sign. He's disappearing in front of me. And stop, parking brake. What we do, APU is on, and the APU gens are on. Yeah. And transponder can come off now. One of the local rules. Very good parking.
Qatar 831 request push
Come on,
back
give
on
me the
top.
Gangnam.
Qatar 831,
Ah, no Gangnam style today.
Face west, Qatar 831.
Jolly good. So we can transfer the power to external power.
Ground to cockpit. Go ahead. Hi, Captain. Microphone check, please.
Avoiding requested.
You're loud and clear. 5/5. Roger. Cabin crew, the aircraft is secure. The jetway is connecting. Start deboarding once ready.
There we go.
Okay, Captain.
Let's see if we can.
Kilo Lima at Mike 2, contact tower 11875.
Oh, look at that.
Boarding started.
Mike 2, contact tower 11875, Sky Dubai 7 Kilo Lima.
There's a little Eurovision Osprey down. That's Sato about to land in the Emirates A380, I think. There's an Osprey just touched down as well. Oh, look at this. Yeah, this is MSFS Premium Deluxe Dubai. Oh, it's a big old floater. Is that a tail strike? It might be. I'm sure it's fine.
Dubai ground, good evening, Qatari 5.
Right, let's have a look at New Sky, shall we? We'll close the flight.
Qatar 560, Dubai ground, passenger.
Oh, 988 off center line landing. And a bit of a firm touchdown. We did think it was a bit of a heavy one. 1.34G, fair enough.
International. Airport.
It got a bit messy at the end. The approach was really nice initially, but
Doha, Navix 3 Fox,
then we kind of buggered it a bit.
Maintain altitude 4,000 feet, squawk 6.
Aviation simulation on final now, and we've got someone else on final on A330.
Sorry sir, can you repeat your voices? Unhearable.
Oh wait, is everyone else down? They are. Wow.
You're cleared to Doha, Navix 3 Fox for departure, runway 30 right.
Yeah.
Maintain altitude 4,000 feet, squawk 6227.
The taxi was so long, everyone else landed. And here's aviation simulation in his Azerbaijan Airlines flight from Baku. Touching down at Dubs. Officer Oki, hey man, I want to join VATSIM 2 but still don't really know how communications know, just knowledge about the aeroplane systems. Yeah, have a look at my VATSIM tutorial playlist. There's a whole selection of videos to help you get started. Just pick and work your way through them all really. It's helped loads of people. I've had hundreds and hundreds of people comment and say to me, direct message or emails and things like that, saying that they've been really helpful, so definitely check those out.
Qatar 560, your cruise is going to be flight level 260 as it says here.
And they are designed to help you go from pretty much 0 to... Ooh, he's vacating Kilo 9. I suppose he hasn't got a choice though, because he's right up his chuff there.
4, taxi stand Bravo 8, Juliet 200.
Bravo, Joe.
Copy, cruise flight level 260, Qatari 560.
Been a long time since we flew into Dubai, and it's quite nice.
By 7 Kilo Lima on inside 30 right, holding shot 72.
What have we got?
Kilo Lima, hello again. Taxi stand Echo 22 November, Papa 3 in the Papa.
There we are. Look at that. Beautiful. So big welcome to all of our new subscribers throughout the last couple of hours today. I hope you guys have enjoyed the route. A little bit last minute, more so than we expected. We were supposed to be going to Stuttgart, the new RD preset scenery, but the developer changed their mind about the free release streams at the last minute after we'd already set the stream. So you will see that scheduled on the channel for next week. Next Friday is kind of the aim for that one. But again, we'll play it by ear. We might just have to change at the last minute to something else, but who knows. We'll see it from there. Big thank you to our ATC controllers here at Dubai and at Prince Alia International as well. Really appreciate you guys spending the time and giving us some really nice ATC. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the visuals today too. Make sure you hit like before you head off, and I will see you over on Discord to continue the chat there. And I look forward to sorting out some more live streams for the next week once I finish work. But in the meantime, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Enjoy the weekend ahead. Sadly, I have to work, but I'll see you the other side of it for some more live streams in MSFS. Take care. I'll see you then.
Qatar 831.